Chapter 2264. Goldbiter Rats. These three are battle servants. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's eyes immediately moved. He wasn't unfamiliar with the ancient Goldbiter rat clan. Back when he was studying legalism, he had once seen a member of the ancient Goldbiter rat clan defeat Su Hengdao of the school of vertical and horizontal. He had also once fought with a member of the ancient Goldbiter rat clan, but he didn't expect these three to actually be battle servants of the ancient Goldbiter rat clan. Du Xiaofu was also secretly puzzled. According to what he'd come into contact with, there didn't seem to be such talented battle servants in the ancient Goldbiter rat clan. So it's the ancient Goldbiter rat clan. Then tell your master to scram further away, or else I'll tear him apart. The little tiger had long since been unable to restrain his temper. His voice was like a tiger's roar, and a deep dark light appeared in his pitch-black eyes. It was just the ancient Goldbiter rat clan. There was nothing to be afraid of. How arrogant! As the little tiger's voice fell, a sharp shout rang out, berating the little tiger. The voice wasn't loud, but it was extremely penetrating, causing one's eardrums to tremble. Following that, the figure of a young man walked out. His figure was small and thin, but tall and straight. His hair was golden, and his eyes were also dark golden, flickering with divine light. His aura was powerful. Ancient Goldbiter rat. Du Xiaofu's eyes moved, sensing the aura. That was the aura of the ancient Goldbiter rat clan, but what made Du Xiaofu inwardly surprised was that the aura of this young man seemed to be much more powerful than the ancient Goldbiter rats he'd seen before. This kind of strength wasn't due to cultivation, but the invisible might of a beast. Following the appearance of this small and thin young man were a dozen figures following behind him, all of them with extraordinary auras. The few in front seemed to be disciples of the ancient Goldbiter rat clan, while the few behind clearly had the aura of a human, seeming to be battle servants. The small and thin young man's gaze was like a torch, sweeping past Du Xiaofu and the little tiger, but in the end, it landed on Du Xiaoqing and the Qing Yuan like a celestial being. I wonder which clan you two ladies are from? I don't want this precious medicine anymore. I'll give it to you two ladies. I wonder which clan you two are from? The skinny young man's attitude immediately took a 180-degree turn. He took a few steps forward, and his gaze kept sizing up Du Xiaoqing, Qing Yuan, and Xiaoqing. That gaze could not help but make people feel displeased. Scram! The little tiger couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't deal with those Sage Realm cultivators, but he didn't care about the Goldbiter rats in front of him. Boom! When the shout rang out, little tiger's figure shot out at the same time. He shook his arm, and his 5 fingers curled slightly. A claw mark tore through the void with a faint golden light. There was a hint of tyranny in its violence as it swung towards the skinny young man from the archaic gold-devouring rat clan. With the little tiger's current cultivation and strength, it didn't hold back in its attacks. Its claws rushed out, distorting the void. It was as if a huge tiger was about to pounce. Then, the tiger pounced on its prey, roaring through the forest and shaking the void. As if they hadn't expected the little tiger's strength to be so strong, the 3 young men who arrived first were shocked. On the other hand, the skinny young man from the ancient gold-devouring rat clan seemed much calmer, but he didn't dare to be careless. In an instant, he clenched his 5 fingers tightly. Instead of retreating, he advanced. His figure was like lightning, unbelievably fast. With a wave of his hand, a claw pierced through space and collided directly. The 2 claws suddenly collided, tearing through space and emitting a shocking trembling sound. Energy surged, and the vibrating void rippled like huge waves. Thump thump, thump. Under such a tyrannical collision, the skinny young man from the ancient gold-devouring rat clan was shaken back. Faint traces of blood appeared on his palm. Only now did the skinny young man's expression change. The opponent's body was actually so strong. The body of the Goldbiter rat clan was indestructible. The little tiger was also shaken back a step. His situation was much better than the skinny young man from the ancient gold-devouring rat clan. However, there were faint traces of blood on his palm. Huh! Du Xiaofu was inwardly surprised. The skinny young man from the ancient gold-devouring rat clan was at the same cultivation level as the little tiger, but he was actually only slightly weaker than the little tiger. It was very strange. His aura was much stronger than that of an ordinary ancient gold-devouring rat clan member. Master! Seeing their master being shaken back, the three young men cried out. 3 sabers appeared in their hands. 3 terrifying auras soared into the sky. The 3 sabers slashed through space and attacked the little tiger. The 3 sabers were very extraordinary. They were at the half-step saint artifact level. Their secret runes were dazzling, and their auras were astonishing. Extraordinary weapons. 3 treasures that were almost at the saint artifact level had actually fallen into the hands of 3 battle servants. Du Xiaofu found it very strange. Back then, the half-step saint artifact heavenly dragon cover of the dragons could only be brought out by true dragon descendants when they went out. What's more, these were merely battle servants of the Goldbiter rat clan. Could it be the ancient gold-devouring rat clan didn't come from the beast region, but from this ominous land? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up. He had made a shocking discovery. The Goldbiter rat clan was definitely not the ancient gold-devouring rat clan of the beast region. The ancient gold-devouring rat clan of the beast region didn't have such extravagance. No wonder he felt that the aura of the Goldbiter rat clan was different. It was much stronger. Perhaps the Goldbiter rats came from this ominous land. They were the true descendants of the ancient gold-devouring rat clan, and their bloodline was even purer. Bang bang bang! While Du Xiaofu was deep in thought, a series of muffled sounds rang out. Du Xiaoqing gracefully stepped forward and instantly attacked. Incomparably hot azure-red flames swept out. A terrifying pressure descended upon this area and directly sent the 3 battle servants flying dozens of meters. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and heavily smashed into the ground. You overestimate yourselves. Du Xiaoqing's ink-black hair was as smooth as a waterfall, reaching all the way to her slender waist. She was enchanting and graceful, but at this moment, her devastatingly beautiful face was ice-cold. The azure-red flames in her eyes were dazzling, as if they could incinerate all things. Roar! The little tiger let out a deafening roar as it attacked again. This time, it transformed into its true form. Monstrous black runes soared into the sky, while golden runes curled around its tiger claws. It seemed like it could completely crush the mountains below. Roar! The skinny youth from the Goldbiter rat clan had no choice. He seemed to be stunned by the little tiger's terrifying aura. His face was filled with shock as he revealed his true form of a Goldbiter rat that was only dozens of meters long. Its runes were resplendent, and its aura was swift and fierce. The two instantly exchanged blows. The little tiger was no longer the same as before. Its body was originally powerful, and its body had been refined by divine thunder. Moreover, it had comprehended the supreme beast ability of the dark sky tiger and possessed the supreme beast aura of the golden-winged Peng clan. It had to be said that this Goldbiter rat was indeed powerful. Its physical body, in particular, lived up to its reputation. It was even tougher than Vajra, and it was actually able to clash with the little tiger. Metallic sounds continuously rang out as runes shattered and swept out in all directions. However, this kind of battle caused the faces of the dozen or so people at the side to reveal expressions of shock and seriousness. After a dozen or so moves, the youth from the Goldbiter rat clan was directly defeated. He was forcefully suppressed by the little tiger. His back was crushed, revealing white bones and dripping blood. He was suppressed under the little tiger's tiger claws. Roar! The tiger's roar was like a sudden clap of thunder. It was like a surging wave that shook heaven and earth. The little tiger's true form was suppressing the Goldbiter rat. Its ink-black runes soared into the sky as it flapped its wings. A terrifying wave of air swept out. One could clearly see a wave of faint golden ripples undulating like a vast tsunami. It covered the sky and covered the earth. It was like a raging wave crashing against the shore, causing the surrounding earth to collapse. The sea of trees collapsed, and giant rocks were torn apart and turned into fine powder. The scene was terrifying. This kind of terrifying aura caused the souls of the remaining dozen or so people to tremble. The giant tiger's aura was too powerful. It was like a supreme beast roaring. Its roar could move mountains and rivers and suppress tens of thousands of beasts. It's the Dark Sky Tiger. It's from the Dark Sky Tiger clan. A girl from the Goldbiter Rat clan exclaimed. Her face was deathly pale and her eyes were filled with fear. For example, the Divine Bird clan. She's from the Bai Fong Divine Bird clan. A young man from the Goldbiter Rat clan trembled. He looked at Du Shaoqing with fear. He could feel the aura of the Bai Fong Divine Bird clan. At this moment, the Goldbiter Rat suppressed by the little tiger had a complicated look in its eyes. The Dark Sky Tiger and the Bai Fong Divine Bird were definitely not something it had expected. Little tiger, spare its life first, Du Xiaofu said. Looking at the reactions of the Goldbiter Rat clan members, he had too many doubts in his heart and wanted to ask for answers. I want to ask you something. If you want to live, you'd better answer me honestly. Du Xiaofu went to the little tiger's paw and looked up at the suppressed Goldbiter Rat. He wanted to ask some questions. Looking down at Du Xiaofu, the Goldbiter Rat was very surprised. This was clearly a human, but his status seemed to be higher than the Dark Sky Tiger and the Bai Fong Divine Bird. Was this human not a battle servant? What do you want to know? The Goldbiter Rat asked. It had obviously compromised. It had absolute strength now and its life was under the little tiger's paw. It had no other choice. Then, Du Xiaofu learned many shocking things from the Goldbiter Rat clan. As he expected, the Goldbiter Rat clan came from this fearsome ground. They were archaic remains before the Dragon Phoenix tribulation. Not only did the Goldbiter Rat clan live in this fearsome ground, but there were also many powerful beast clans. Among them were the Divine Bird clan, the Dark Sky Tiger clan, and other powerful clans that had long disappeared from Kyushu in the outside world. Many of the demon beasts here have been affected and haven't fully awakened their intelligence. What's going on? Du Xiaofu asked the Goldbiter Rat, puzzled. Most of the places are forbidden and full of danger. Rumor has it that they were formed by the Great War of Extinction a long, long time ago. There are only a few places here that haven't been affected. It's because the experts of the various clans work together to block the corrosion of the killing aura. This wasn't a secret. The Goldbiter Rat's body didn't hide anything. Suddenly, the Goldbiter Rat seemed to have thought of something. It looked at Du Xiaofu and asked in shock, "Could it be that you're from the outside world?" "Just answer properly. It's not your turn to ask." The little tiger scolded unceremoniously. It exerted force with its paw, causing the Goldbiter Rat to vomit blood again. It was very miserable. Chapter 2265. How many Saint Realm cultivators are there? How strong is the strongest expert? Du Xiaofu continued to ask. He wanted to know more. Almost all the clans have Saint Realm cultivators. In any case, there are many. I don't know the strongest expert, but it should be a divine ancestor from the Divine Bird clan. Although the Goldbiter Rat was unwilling, it could only answer honestly at this moment. It knew very well that the other party could destroy its body and soul at any time. Du Xiaofu's eyes narrowed. It looked like there were quite a few Saint Realm cultivators here. Du Xiaofu didn't ask this question in detail. With the Goldbiter Rat's cultivation level, it probably wouldn't be able to come into contact with too many Saint Realm cultivators, so it wouldn't be able to ask much. However, Du Xiaofu was secretly surprised by the Divine Bird clan. It seemed that the Divine Bird clan had an extremely high status in this fearsome zone. There are many beast clans nearby. What are you doing here? Du Xiaofu asked. His sharp nascent spirit had already secretly scanned the surroundings. He discovered that there were many beast clans within a 1,000-mile radius, and they all seemed to be searching for something. The Goldbiter Rat hesitated inwardly, then said, "We were originally going to participate in the Beast Alliance meeting, but we received news that the artifact soul of a primordial saint artifact had appeared nearby. A human paragon had also appeared. We're currently pursuing him. We want to subdue that human as a battle servant and obtain the artifact soul of the primordial saint artifact." A human paragon, a primordial saint artifact. Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and asked, "Is that human paragon from the outside world or from here?" "That human came from here. It said that he's very young but very talented, the Goldbiter rat replied, not daring to hide anything. What's going on with the Beast Alliance meeting? Du Xiaofu wanted to know more. He needed to know more about the situation. The Beast Alliance meeting has been around for a very long time. It's held once every 1,000 years and is one of the biggest events for the beast race. At that time, the young supreme prodigies of the beast race will compete for the title of the Beast Alliance commander. The Lord of all beasts, the supreme of the beast race, the ruler of all beasts. As the Goldbiter rat spoke, his eyes rippled with yearning. The Lord of all beasts, the sovereign of the beast race, the ruler of all beasts, how awe-inspiring was that? Unfortunately, it also knew that with its cultivation base and strength, there was no way it could compete with those supreme prodigies of the beast tribes. The waves in the Goldbiter rat's eyes calmed down a little as it looked at Du Xiaofu. It gritted its teeth and continued, the Beast Alliance Convention exists for the sake of the human race. The human race is much stronger than before and has already affected the beast race. The Beast Alliance Convention exists to suppress the human race. Phew! Hearing the Goldbiter rat's words, Du Xiaofu let out a long breath. This was a fearsome land that existed before the Dragon Phoenix Tribulation. It seemed like the legends were true. Before the Dragon Phoenix Tribulation, the human race could only survive in the cracks between the various races. This ancient, desolate, fearsome land had always been sealed. There were still humans who had survived, but their situation didn't seem optimistic. However, they should be slowly rising. The Goldbiter rat looked at Du Xiaofu and felt that this human was the leader. He was even stronger than Dark Sky Tiger and Divine Bird Fong. It said, "Human, I've already answered your question. You can let me go now. Otherwise, the experts of my Goldbiter rat race won't let you off. Don't threaten us. The Goldbiter rat race is nothing." The little tiger shouted. The Goldbiter rat was nothing. In the outside world, its third young master was the young master of the golden-winged Great Ping race. Even the Phoenix race had to avoid him. Little tiger, let it go. Du Xiaofu said. There were too many experts here. It was much more complicated than he had imagined. He didn't want to provoke too many strong enemies unless it was necessary. You're lucky. Go away. Don't run into me again. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Little Tiger shouted in a deep voice as he lifted his tiger claws. His enormous body instantly transformed into a black-robed young man. A domineering and fierce aura spread out from his pure pitch-black eyes. His awe-inspiring kingly aura caused the battle servants and gold-devouring rats in the distance to secretly tremble. The skinny young Goldbiter rat immediately stood up and turned into a human. He didn't dare to stay any longer. He didn't even dare to look back. He immediately left with his followers. Raising his eyes slightly, Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes and looked at the void. He seemed to be thinking about something. I found it. My race is here. Du Xiaoqing was very excited. Her eyes were suffused with green and red flames. No wonder she felt a certain connection as soon as she entered the ancient, desolate, ominous grounds. Her race was here. Perhaps we can find out about your origins this time. Ouyang Shuang was also happy for Du Xiaoqing. Little Qing had always wanted to find out about her origins all these years. How could Du Xiaofu not know? He took a step forward and arrived beside her. He placed his hand on her shoulder and said, Big Brother will take you to the Bai Fong Divine Bird Clan. No matter what, we have to find out more about them first. Okay. Du Xiaoqing nodded. The smile on her face was like a blooming epiphyllum. It was so beautiful that it could enter people's hearts. Sensing the aura of Du Xiaoqing and the little tiger, the humanoid beast race did not even look at Du Xiaofu and Ouyang Shuang. He thought they were just Du Xiaoqing and the little tiger's battle servants. You're being robbed? Hearing the humanoid beast race's words, Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoqing, and the little tiger were all secretly surprised. It had been a long time since they had been robbed. You have a few stalks of precious medicine on you. Hand them over and you can go? Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. He had spied that the humanoid beast race had a few stalks of precious medicine on him. He did not expect to be robbed. It had been a long time since he had encountered this kind of feeling. He actually missed it. Human, say that again. The humanoid beast race was also puzzled. He thought he had misheard. Did this battle servant want to rob him? Before the humanoid beast had even finished speaking, Du Xiaoqing had already made her move. Scorching green and red flames rose into the air. The little tiger's 5 fingers curled slightly. Claws swept out and tore through the void. Ink-black runes swept out. Bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, muffled sounds rang out in the void. Runes collided and spread out in all directions. The humanoid beast race did not even have time to react before he was beaten silly by Du Xiaoqing and the little tiger. Moo! The humanoid beast race transformed into a huge 3-horned bull that was several hundred feet tall. His entire body glowed, and his hair stood on end. However, he was still crushed by the little tiger and Du Xiaoqing. In less than 10 moves, he was drenched in blood. It was a tragic sight. He was completely suppressed. Let me go. I'm willing to hand over my precious medicine. The huge bull begged for mercy. Its eyes were filled with fear. It could feel the terrifying aura of a supreme beast race from Du Xiaoqing and the little tiger. They were existences that it did not dare to provoke. These two people had a great background. Then, all the external objects on the huge bull fell into Du Xiaoqing's hands. Next time you rob, you must be careful. Du Xiaoqing pouted. She was very satisfied with the harvest on the huge bull. She was in a good mood and let the huge bull go. Sigh, it's a pity that I don't have time to roast beef. Du Xiaofu only watched calmly from the beginning. When he saw the beast's true form, he felt a little regretful. He had not satisfied his appetite for good food for a long time. Other than dragon meat, beef had always been his favorite. Coo, coo! After hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Du Xiaoqing, the little tiger, Dai Xingyu, and the others could not help but swallow. Their gazes were fixed on the huge bull as if they were looking at prey. The huge bull had just escaped from the suppression. When it saw Du Xiaoqing, the little tiger, and the others' special gazes, it could not help but feel a chill down its spine. It immediately ran away. Chapter 2266. Translator, H2-2 Mr. Be careful up ahead. Translator, H2-2 Mr. Du Xiaofu had no intention of chasing after the giant bull. He used his primordial spirit to probe and found many powerful monsters up ahead. He reminded Du Xiaoqing, little tiger, and the others to be careful. The mountain peaks were resplendent, and the most eye-catching thing on the brown cliffs were the towering trees. The mountains overlapped and the cliffs were steep. The towering trees covered the sky and the sun, their leaves lush as if they were covered with clouds. Dozens of figures stood under the towering trees on the mountain peak. Their powerful auras spread out, distorting the space around them and making it oppressive. The person in front was a young man in his 30s. He had an extraordinary temperament and his battle robe made him look even more majestic. People could not help but take a second look at him. At this moment, the skinny young man from the Goldbiter rat clan, who had been trampled on by Little Tiger not long ago, stood beside the young man in the battle robe. Although he had tidied up his clothes, he could not hide his sorry state. He looked at the young man in the battle robe with respect. The Bai Fong Divine Bird and the Dark Sky Tiger clan? The young man in the battle robe looked at the sky, his eyes flashing. He asked the skinny young man from the Goldbiter rat clan softly, "Do you know who the Bai Fong Divine Bird and the Dark Sky Tiger clan are?" Lord Ming, the Bai Fong Divine Bird and the Dark Sky Tiger clan are unfamiliar, but one of the humans is very strange. The skinny young man from the Goldbiter rat clan hesitated for a moment, then looked up at the young man in the battle robe and said, "They have a human kid who is probably not a battle servant. However, the Bai Fong Divine Bird and the Dark Sky Tiger clan have to listen to orders. That human kid may be from the outside world. The outside world has indeed opened up again. Someone is coming in." Hearing this, the young man in the battle robe seemed to know something. He did not seem too surprised that someone from the outside world had come in. His face was calm and he seemed to be thinking about something. After a while, the young man in the battle robe said softly, "Looks like this is going to be interesting." Lord Ming, the Bai Fong Divine Bird and the Dark Sky Tiger clan are also here. The Goldbiter rat clan seemed to want to say something but stopped. Bai Fong Divine Bird, Dark Sky Tiger. The young man in the battle robe lifted his eyes, and the corners of his lips curled into a confident and proud smile. He said slowly, "Don't worry. After this Beast Alliance meeting, the Baifeng Divine Bird Clan will no longer be the same as before. Someone will deal with the Dark Heavenly Tiger Clan as well." "Yes, Your Excellency." The skinny young man from the Goldbiter Rat Clan smiled when he heard this. Suddenly, in the depths of the mountain range in front of them, an aura rushed into the sky and shook the void. A wave of vast and unparalleled energy swept out, accompanied by dazzling multicolored light that illuminated the sky. A strange phenomenon appeared in the sky. A great treasure has been born. Du Xiaofu felt that a great treasure had suddenly appeared in the world. Such a huge and mighty movement was definitely not an ordinary treasure. Screech! At the same time, in the depths of the mountain range in front of them, there was a sound that pierced through clouds and cracked stones, resounding through the void. The sound made the Crimson Demon Primal Wolf and the middle-aged man raise their heads at the same time. Their eyes trembled and revealed a brilliant light, seeming to be very excited. "It won't be too late to leave after I finish off a puny human like you." The middle-aged man turned around and stared at Du Xiaofu with killing intent gushing out from his eyes. He raised his hand and slammed it towards Du Xiaofu. His bestial aura surged out, and mysterious runes shot up into the sky like waves. The palm print covered Du Xiaofu. The middle-aged man's killing intent was fierce, and he showed no mercy. "Evil beast, you're courting death." Du Xiaofu was bitterly cold. He originally wanted to spare the evil beast's life, but he did not expect that this evil beast would want to kill him. He shook his arm and directly punched out. Boom! A muffled sound shook the sky, and the void distorted, unable to withstand the impact of such a huge force, and exploded. The result was already decided. The middle-aged demonic beast did not even have the chance to reveal its true body before it was directly turned into a bloody mist. Several Qingquan bags also fell into Du Xiaofu's hands. The Crimson Demon Primal Wolf was shocked. In an instant, the strength in its eyes was replaced by fear. Its body trembled, and its beast soul trembled. It wanted to escape, but found that its body was somewhat weak. "Do you know the whereabouts of the primordial Saint Tool's soul? Is that human sovereign inside?" Du Xiaofu looked at the Crimson Demon Primal Wolf and asked. His eyes were cold and unreasonably domineering. Looking at Du Xiaofu's eyes, the Crimson Demon Primal Wolf felt a chill in its heart and spread throughout its body. The young man in front of it clearly had the aura of a human, but it felt as if it could feel the aura of a sovereign beast. The depths of its bloodline and beast soul were suppressed. The archaic sacred artifact's artifact soul should be inside. That human supreme being also fled inside, but that woman is too powerful. We lost quite a few experts and battle servants. The Scarlet Demon Ancient Wolf replied. Its entire body was trembling. "You shouldn't have provoked me," Du Xiaofu said. He attacked again and easily killed the Crimson Demon Primal Wolf. After killing the middle-aged sovereign beast, Du Xiaofu could only kill this Crimson Demon Primal Wolf to prevent the news from spreading and provoking the experts behind him. A great treasure has appeared, and the primordial Saint Tool's soul is inside. It's getting more and more complicated. Everyone be careful. Du Xiaofu warned the people around him, then led them away. A great treasure had suddenly appeared in front of them. Du Xiaofu didn't want to miss it. In a huge valley, the area was vast and the rocks were steep. At this moment, this valley was filled with light that spread out in all directions, illuminating the void and emitting a powerful and dazzling aura. There were hundreds of figures gathered on the ground and in the sky. Some of the figures were wrapped in dazzling light, and there were powerful demonic beasts towering over the valley like mountains. There were also ferocious birds spreading their wings and covering the void. The light was connected, as if they were going to drown out the heaven and earth. In the middle of the valley, there was a woman wearing a light blue crepe dress. Her face was cold and enchanting, and the jade bells hanging from the corners of her dress were tinkling in the wind. A soft white silk was tied around her waist, outlining her perfect figure. She was curvaceous and had an alluring arc. There were a few corpses around the woman. A sparkling and translucent spirit vine climbed up the cliff in front of her. It had a total of 9 palm-sized leaves, and they emitted a radiance like starlight. The fragrance was rich, and the light was dazzling and blazing, dyeing half of the void with light. At this moment, the woman and the powerful demonic beasts were all secretly staring at the crystal-clear spirit vine. They were all secretly afraid, and fell into a temporary stalemate. Obviously, there were many demonic beasts, but none of them wanted to take advantage of others. No one wanted the spirit vine to fall into the hands of others. Swoosh swoosh, Du Xiaofu and the others arrived and landed beside the valley. When he looked forward, Du Xiaofu squinted his eyes, and a smile appeared on his face that was disguised. Sacred medicine, this is a sacred medicine. How could Du Xiaofu not be happy? The scarlet demonic horse bloodline soul had already sensed that this was a sacred medicine. He had never eaten a sacred medicine before. Du Xiaofu was overjoyed. This ominous ground was indeed filled with great danger and great opportunities. How could there be a sacred medicine in the outside world? Waving his hand to signal Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaoqing, and the others to stay away, Du Xiaofu's figure directly soared into the sky. A vigorous aura fluctuated from his body as he crossed the void and headed towards the sacred medicine. The surrounding ferocious birds and ferocious demonic beasts saw Du Xiaofu, but before they could react, Du Xiaofu's silhouette had already arrived in the middle of the valley. His movements were unpredictable, and he mysteriously appeared in front of the cliff crack. 9-leaf golden star vine, sacred medicine. When Du Xiaofu saw the spirit vine, the strange phenomenon he saw earlier should have been caused by the birth of the 9-leaf golden star vine. It had also attracted many powerhouses to this place. Chapter 2267. The demonic beast experts and the lady in light blue dress were originally in a temporary stalemate. Now that they saw someone approaching the 9-leaf gold star vine, a few powerful demonic beast experts at the front immediately stared at Du Xiaofu. "Kid, do you want to die?" A ferocious bird flapped its wings, its aura fierce and fierce. Its ferocious eyes emitted a cold light as it stared at Du Xiaofu. If it wasn't for the lady and the other similarly ferocious demonic beasts, it would have already taken down the 9-leaf gold star vine. Chi! Du Xiaofu completely ignored the bird. His figure left a trail of afterimages in the air as he pounced towards the 9-leaf gold star vine. Kidat! The ferocious bird shouted coldly as 2 rays of light shot out from its eyes. It flapped its wings and swooped down, its claws tearing through the air as it clawed at Du Xiaofu. Boom! Almost at the same time, the air trembled as a huge demonic beast leaped up and waved its claws at Du Xiaofu. Swish! The lady in light blue dress moved. Her beautiful figure was like lightning as she pounced towards the 9-leaf gold star vine. Don't even think about it. The roar was like thunder as several powerful demonic beasts erupted at the same time to block the lady. Awoo! In an instant, the stalemate was broken. The roar was like thunder as the entire valley trembled. The earth shook and the mountains shook as rocks exploded. Bang bang! 2 deep, muffled booms rang out at the same time, followed by 2 miserable howls. For some unknown reason, the ferocious bird and the gigantic demon beast that were pouncing on Du Xiaofu were sent flying away at the same time. Blood spurted out from their mouths, and their bodies were drenched in blood. Du Xiaofu's figure was unstoppable as he appeared beside the 9-leaf gold star vine like a ghost. He formed a hand seal and a dazzling light flashed as he pulled at the 9-leaf gold star vine. The sacred medicine had its own spirit. The 9-leaf gold star vine erupted with multicolored light as golden light exploded from the 9 leaves. The talisman runes soared into the sky as if 9 small suns were rising. It erupted with a terrifying might as it tried to break free from Du Xiaofu's suppression. As a sacred medicine, it has its own destiny and destination. Click. Du Xiaofu shouted and his aura erupted. The 9-leaf gold star vine had a spirit of its own. Ordinary cultivators would have a hard time capturing it. Unfortunately, Du Xiaofu was no ordinary cultivator. The 9-leaf gold star vine could not escape and was forcibly suppressed. Du Xiaofu directly pulled it out and held it in his hand. Bang bang bang. The valley exploded, the ground cracked, and energy swept out. Many beast silhouettes were forced to retreat. That enchanting and ice-cold woman's beautiful figure was also blocked by several demonic beasts and was forced to retreat. Swish, swish. However, after that, numerous gazes locked onto Du Xiaofu's body. They stared at the 9-leaf gold star vine in his hand, their gazes burning with desire. The cold and enchanting woman's gaze also landed on Du Xiaofu. Her eyes flickered with light, and she was a little surprised and puzzled. Hand over the sacred medicine. There was a thunderous shout. A giant bird stared at Du Xiaofu with incomparable passion. Stay away from me or I'll eat you. Du Xiaofu was in a good mood after getting the sacred medicine. Under the gazes of the crowd and the burning gazes of the crowd, he sealed the sacred medicine and put it into his Qiankuan bag. Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, the demonic beasts present could not help but be stunned. Was this kid a human or a demonic beast? He was actually so arrogant and wanted to eat that giant bird. You've angered me. No matter who you are, you're courting death. The giant bird was furious. How could it endure being looked down upon like this? It could not accept that the sacred medicine was snatched away right under its nose. It suddenly flapped its wings and pounced. This giant bird's cultivation was very strong. It was one of the strongest among everyone present. It wanted to establish its dominance and obtain the sacred medicine. However, this giant bird's luck was not too good. It met Du Xiaofu. These wings can be roasted and eaten. When these words fell, Du Xiaofu's figure appeared on the giant bird's back like a ghost. At this moment, the giant bird felt a chill in its heart for no reason. Its blade-like feathers stood up. It could not block or even resist. It used all of its strength, but it felt like a stone sinking into the sea. A chill suddenly crept up from the bottom of its heart, and its whole body shivered. Du Xiaofu attacked, and a claw fell on the giant bird's right wing. Ka-ka. Immediately after, under everyone's horrified gazes, the giant bird's right wing was torn apart. The sound of bones breaking could be heard, and blood poured down like a rain of blood in the valley. Coo! The immense pain caused the giant bird to shriek in agony. Its wings were directly torn off, causing it to wail in agony. Its body immediately lost its balance and fell from midair. It crashed heavily into the valley, crushing jagged boulders and causing the ground to shake and shake. This giant bird was too miserable. Blood flowed like a stream, and it was too horrible to look at. The broken wing was covered with white bones, and its skin was torn open. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. The giant bird was an expert of the older generation. It was very strong, and many people had to be respectful to it. But now, it had its wings pulled out by a human. This was too cruel. The enchanting and cold woman was also secretly shocked. Her eyes rippled. She could feel that the young man should be a human, but she had never seen such cruelty before. She could not see through his strength. Who else dares to come up? I'll stew you together. It should taste good. Du Xiaofu threw the giant wing on the ground and looked at the group of demonic beasts in front of him. He licked his lips, and it seemed that his saliva was about to flow out. This human really wants to eat us. The group of demonic beasts could not help but step back. They gasped, and their eyes were filled with fear. They could feel that the delicate and thin young man seemed to really want to eat them. He was definitely not joking. Who are you? The enchanting and cold woman asked Du Xiaofu. Although her temperament was cold, her voice was like the sound of nature. Her figure was graceful, and her light purple dress fluttered in the wind. She was extraordinarily beautiful. Although she felt that the other party might be young, his strength was definitely not that of a young man. She should know all the outstanding young people of the human clan, so she was very polite. In this place, the human clan was a family. The appearance of such a strong human at this moment was beneficial to her. I have a wife. Don't you dare have any ideas about me. Du Xiaofu looked at the cold and enchanting woman. He had already secretly sized her up. She was not old, about the same age as Ouyang Shuang. Her aura was very well hidden, but it could not escape Du Xiaofu's prying. She should have reached the indestructible realm. At this woman's age, she had such a cultivation. Du Xiaofu was very surprised. In the outside world, there were not many people with such talent. Du Xiaofu guessed that this woman should be the human clan supreme that these demonic beasts had been looking for. She had been hiding her cultivation all this time. He was afraid that she must be up to something. Otherwise, the group of demonic beasts and battle servants surrounding her would not have been able to trap her. She was indeed not simple. With a slight smile, Du Xiaofu did not leave any trace. He continued, "It seems that many demonic beasts want to take you as a battle servant. You can't escape. How about this? With your talent, you are barely qualified to be my maid. I will protect you. How about it?" "Sir, don't go too far." The enchanting woman's expression immediately became somewhat cold. She had intended to greet him in a friendly manner, but she never thought that he would be so rude. He even wanted to take her as a maid. Ever since she was born, no one had ever dared to speak to her like that. "Little girl, you don't know what's good for you. You have some strength and talent, but now that you are in danger, your chances of escaping are not great. Becoming a battle servant of those demonic beasts is a small matter, but if you are taken as a wife by those demonic beasts, that would be a great loss. If I didn't already have a wife, I would be tempted by your appearance." Du Xiaofu sighed. The corners of his mouth curled into a playful and unruly smile. His sharp soul had already detected that many demonic beasts were still rushing over. There were absolute experts among them. He did not want to meddle in other people's business, but seeing that they were all humans, he originally intended to protect this woman. However, it seemed that this woman's temper was not too good. "Brother Xiaofu is flirting with the girl." Outside the valley, Qing Wan Xiaoqing raised her eyebrows. "Some people seem to be a little unruly." Ouyang Shuang's big and beautiful eyes stared ahead from afar. Her delicate hands had already clenched into fists. That guy was still so restless in front of her. She could not bear it. I'd like to see how much weight you have." In the valley, the enchanting woman was furious. When had she ever been teased like this? When her voice rang out, her seductive figure had already strangely appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Her slender white jade-like palm was suffused with light. It was pure white and dazzling. The surroundings were distorted. It was incomparably terrifying. She directly slapped towards Du Xiaofu. Bang! The palm print shattered the void. Du Xiaofu's figure was shattered. However, there was no blood. The woman's beautiful face turned pale. She realized that things were not good. "You're not fast enough." Du Xiaofu's voice was transmitted to the woman's ears. At the same time, his palm passed through the black hair behind her head. A few strands of hair floated down. When the voice entered her ears, there was a trace of warmth. Her black hair fluttered. The woman's heartstrings trembled for no reason. It was a feeling she had never felt before. It was as if a small stone had been thrown into the calm water, causing ripples to appear. Shameless! However, in an instant, the woman was furious. Her hair fluttered. A layer of dazzling light covered the surface of her body. It was as if a divine halo had enveloped her entire body. It emitted a crystal-clear luster. Her big eyes were covered with resplendent light. A terrifying aura rose in a straight line. The woman activated her martial vein. It was very mystical and divine. However, her eyes were increasingly cold. She quickly turned around like a banished immortal. Her 5 fingers curled slightly. Light filled the sky as she punched towards Du Xiaofu. The martial vein is very strong. It's not an ordinary thing. Du Xiaofu was very surprised. This kind of martial vein was very powerful and rare. It was inexplicably vast, as if it could suppress all living things. However, at this moment, although the woman had activated her martial vein, for some unknown reason, she had not completely revealed her true cultivation. Everything happened very quickly. Du Xiaofu did not delay. He retreated slightly. A claw print distorted the void and directly clashed with the woman's delicate fist. Chapter 2268. Du Xiaofu's left hand distorted the void and tightly clasped the woman's delicate fist. Although he had concealed his cultivation level, his strength was neither too heavy nor too light. His attack was impeccable, making her unable to retract her fist. He smiled faintly like a lecher and said, Your hand is really bright and fair. Shameless. The ice-cold woman berated angrily, but it made her look even more enchanting. She raised her left hand and slapped out fiercely. Your temper is not small. Du Xiaofu said with a smile, and his palm collided directly with hers. Light burst forth. This was a collision with astonishing strength, accompanied by the sound of lightning and thunder. Thump thump. The woman's beautiful figure staggered back, and her eyes fluctuated violently. Her opponent was unfathomable. Her strength was like a stone sinking into the sea, silent and undetectable. This was too strange. Du Xiaofu's silhouette swayed slightly. He was just testing the waters. This woman was truly astonishing. Every move she made was filled with an ancient aura. Her methods were also very mysterious. The woman had already been provoked. After her beautiful figure stopped, she was about to attack again. You are not my opponent. Moreover, the person who is looking for you should be here. You should solve your own problems first. Du Xiaofu waved his hand at the ice-cold and enchanting woman and directly stopped the battle. The enchanting woman stared at Du Xiaofu. Then, as if she had sensed something, she suddenly turned her head. Whoosh, whoosh. As the woman turned her head, the sound of wind breaking came from afar. A vast fluctuation swept over, and light ripples rushed out and spread all over the sky. This kind of movement also caused the expressions of all the battle servants and demonic beasts present to change. The enchanting woman looked in the direction of the huge movement, and a cold smile hung on her red lips. She was extremely calm. Roar. The beast's roar was like thunder, resounding through the valley and echoing endlessly, causing many creatures to turn pale and reveal fear in their eyes. Under everyone's changing gazes, dozens of figures swept over, and dazzling lights spread out. Wave after wave of powerful aura fluctuations caused the space around the entire valley to be oppressed for no reason. It was as if a huge rock was pressing down on the chests of every living being, causing them to have difficulty breathing and the profound energy within their bodies to be blocked. Among the dozens of powerful figures, there was a young man in a battle robe who stood tall and straight. His temperament was outstanding, and standing beside several other extraordinary figures, he was like a crane in a flock of chickens. He was outstanding. It's Lord Feng, he's here. It's Lord Ji. He's here. When the young man in the battle robe appeared, the demonic beasts around the valley began to whisper to each other. Their eyes were filled with awe, and they automatically backed up. Several human figures came to the side of the young man in battle robe. They were the battle servants dispatched by the young man in battle robe. They were whispering to the young man in battle robe what had just happened. Du Xiaofu glanced at the young man in battle robes. His aura was powerful and extraordinary. The gold-biter rats. However, Du Xiaofu raised his brows slightly when he saw the skinny young man from the gold-devouring rat clan by his side. Lord Ji, it's them. The young man from the gold-devouring rat clan noticed Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, and the others in the distance. There was still some fear in his eyes, but with Lord Ji by his side, he became a lot bolder. He glanced at Du Xiaoqing and the others with a complicated gaze. The young man from the gold-devouring rat clan didn't see the familiar figure in the purple robe. He couldn't help but feel puzzled and puzzled. The young man in battle robe looked at the young man from the gold-devouring rat clan. He also looked at Little Tiger, Du Xiaoqing, and the others in the distance. His gaze was very gentle, and he had a faint smile on his face. He was calm and unfathomable. But then, the young man in battle robe withdrew his gaze and looked at Du Xiaofu, who had used a divine disguise technique. Finally, he said to the cold and enchanting woman, Lu Limo, I didn't expect you to come personally. This doesn't seem to be a wise choice. His voice was very gentle, and it was very comfortable to listen to. It made people want to listen to him for a while longer. Lu Limo remained calm as she looked at the young man in battle robe. She opened her mouth and said, Du, I'm afraid you're not strong enough. Is that so? Du smiled faintly at Lu Limo and said, If I subdue you and make you my battle servant, I'm afraid that the few of them won't be able to compete with me in this Beast Alliance meeting. His voice paused for a moment, but Du was still gentle. His handsome face was calm as he continued, but there's no rush now. We'll take action later. As his words fell, Diyu's gaze finally landed on Du Xiaofu. He said, "Human, you don't seem to be a simple person. But I'm not interested in who you are. I'm still waiting to subdue Lu Limo. Please don't waste my time. I'll give you two choices. First, hand over the sacred herb and become my battle servant. Second, I'll kill you." Diyu's voice was very gentle and there was a smile on his face. However, when his words rang out, they landed clearly in the ears of every living being. It was as if no one could resist, and it was how things should be. "You're called Diyu, right? Tell me, should I stew you or roast you?" However, this was Du Xiaofu's response as he calmly looked at Diyu. "He's too arrogant." When they heard Du Xiaofu's words, all the battle servants and demonic beasts were stunned. How arrogant was this? He actually dared to clamor that he wanted to eat Lord Diyu. That brat is dead meat. Then, everyone's eyes trembled as they revealed malicious smiles. This brat actually dared to disregard Lord Diyu. He was definitely courting death. He's dead meat. Lu Limo stood quietly in the void. Her skin was sparkling like jade and the divine splendor on her body fluctuated. Under the contrast, she looked even more otherworldly and had an otherworldly aura. She seemed to want to be a spectator so that she could know the true strength of that lecher and Diyu. Upon hearing Du Xiaofu's words, a ripple finally surfaced in Du Xiaofu's gentle eyes. His expression stiffened slightly as he raised his eyes slightly. For no reason at all, the aura from his body quietly gushed out, giving one a majestic and vigorous feeling that was valiant and intimidating. "Brat, you've made me a little angry." Diyu's voice was no longer gentle. It carried a hint of coldness as it penetrated the void. Boom! When the last word fell, Diyu lifted his foot and took a step forward. The surrounding void suddenly trembled. Huge rocks in the valley below exploded and the cliff cracked. A terrifying aura whizzed out, forming a terrifying space that was extremely frightening. It enveloped Du Xiaofu. Some demonic beast experts were shocked. Lord Diyu was truly angry. "Give it your all. Don't disappoint me," Du Xiaofu said. Diyu was indeed strong. However, with his current cultivation, he didn't take it to heart. He was just a little curious about Diyu. "Arrogant human. You're overestimating yourself. You're seeking your own death." Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, some demonic beast experts were disdainful and some demonic beast experts sneered at him. How could that brat be a match for Lord Diyu? Lord Diyu was one of the top 10 heavens chosen supreme of the younger generation in the Beast Alliance. God knows how many demonic beast experts he had defeated. Rumble, Diyu's face and eyes were already cold. He didn't want to waste any more time and words. His figure traversed the void. His body erupted with resplendent talisman runes. It was like a rising sun. An invisible aura suppressed the surrounding void. Boom! Diyu's speed was very fast. Diyu blasted out a punch. His fist was strangely covered with a layer of thick steel-like scales. It opened and closed like the edge of a blade. It was bright and dazzling. When this punch blasted out, the earth and void suddenly trembled. Tiny cracks spread out in the void. The ground of the valley cracked inch by inch and the huge rocks turned into dust. Diyu looked gentle, but this punch was simple and direct. It was valiant and swift without any fancy moves. The fist brought along a sky full of talisman runes as though it could destroy everything. There was a faint beast roar that shook the heavens and earth. It made the beast race experts' beast souls tremble. This kind of pressure came from the bloodline beast soul. It was hard to resist. Roar! This punch was like a monstrous beast that shook the heavens and earth. Diyu's eyes were cold. He directly executed his killer move. He wanted to kill that human in one move to establish his dominance. Lu Limo was his real target. Lu Limo's calm eyes quietly turned to Du Xiaofu. Facing such a punch, Du Xiaofu stood there without moving. Under the terrifying impact of the energy, his long robe strangely didn't even flutter in the slightest. In the next instant, he shook his arm, and as fast as lightning, the two fists collided directly. Rumble! The void rumbled. Du Xiaofu's fist and Diyu's ferocious fist collided. The muffled sound was like thunder as the surrounding void shattered inch by inch. Bang, bang, bang. This collision was like two volcanoes colliding. The entire earth trembled violently and exploded. There was an explosion of astonishing radiance. Broken talisman runes swept in all directions. The earth shook, the sky trembled, and the talisman runes shattered. Chi-la, fresh blood immediately splashed out. It was bright and resplendent, accompanied by an inextinguishable radiance. It was exceptionally brilliant. Is this a life and death move? Even if that kid doesn't die, he will be severely injured. A huge demonic beast said. It was very shocking. This was too shocking. Blood could be seen in one move. Immediately after, Diyu's body in the void retreated more than 10 steps. He only stabilized his body after a few hundred feet. Look, that kid is injured. There was a cry of surprise. Some creatures saw that Du Xiaofu's fist was covered in blood and was dripping. That's not bad. He can take a punch from Lord Diyu and not die. He's very strong. He can be considered a top existence in the human race. Many demonic beast experts and battle servants discussed and smiled. Everything was as they had expected. That human was no match for Diyu. Blood could be seen in one move, but it was not bad. On the other hand, although Diyu was forced back, he was still dazzling. He was in high spirits. His battle robe and hair danced in the wind. His eyes emitted a chilling radiance. He was a supreme genius. Lord Diyu is one of the top 10 existences in the younger generation of the Beast Alliance. Who in the human race can compete with him? Some demonic beasts cheered, especially those that were injured by Du Xiaofu at the beginning. They were pleasantly surprised. Lord Diyu had avenged them. Diyu is a strong competitor in this Beast Alliance meeting. A senior demonic beast expert said. His huge body stood in the valley, and his huge eyes were full of praise. Lu Limo looked at Du Xiaofu with a strange look in her eyes. Her ice-cold face was filled with shock. No, that's not that kid's blood. Lord Diyu is injured. Finally, someone discovered it and cried out in surprise. At that moment, Diyu's right fist, which he had just punched out, had broken scales that were as sharp as blades. Drops of blood were quietly flowing out. The blood was resplendent and emitted talisman runes. It was like a burning flame accompanied by energy fluctuations. It made living creatures shudder. Chapter 2269. This is the blood of a supreme being. Lord Lu Yu is injured. The group of demonic beast experts and battle servants, who had originally revealed disdainful smiles, immediately became solemn, and their expressions became solemn. The entire place was stunned. The demonic beast battle servants' expressions froze on their faces. They originally thought that the human was not a match for Lord Lu Yu and was injured in one move. Who would have thought that the one injured was Lord Lu Yu? All the surrounding creatures were in disbelief. This was too inconceivable. They looked at Du Xiaofu in shock. Was this real? This human injured Lord Lu Yu in one move. At this time, some demonic beasts began to suck in cold air, their hair standing on end. It turned out that the human was so strong to such a terrifying extent. No, this can't be real. Some of the young men and women with powerful auras who came with Lord Lu Yu turned pale. They shook their heads, unwilling to believe what they were seeing. Lord Lu Yu stood in the void, still exuding the aura of a supreme being among the demonic beasts. However, his gaze became deeper and his aura became more violent and cold. Boom! Suddenly, talisman markings swept out and shot into the sky. They were like clouds that hung down from the sky, covering the valley and drowning the heavens. Lord Lu Yu's body expanded and turned into a beast in an instant. It wasn't huge, but the beast's head was malevolent like a human's face. There were horns on its forehead, and its eyes were bright and spirited. Its nose was protruding, and its teeth were as sharp as saws. A pair of fleshy wings spread out, and its body was covered in dark red scales. It was the color of dried blood and emitted a resplendent light. The beast's body was like a mountain, and its blood aura was surging. It was thicker and more terrifying than the ghost chariot's 9-headed wind. Roar! Lord Lu Yu roared like heavenly thunder, shocking the soul. The blood aura runes on the surface of its body swept out in all directions like a tsunami. The valley shook, the space trembled, and the void rumbled. A large crack extended to the end of the line of sight. The walls of the valley cracked and collapsed, turning into fine powder. Lord Lu Yu's true body. This is Lord Lu Yu's true body. The demonic beast experts in all directions prostrated, their beast souls trembling in fear. That ferocious power was too terrifying, suppressing them. Ro Owl. Du Xiaofu's expression changed inwardly. He knew some of the origins of the Ro Owl. It had long since gone extinct in the Kyushu region of the 3 continents. It was rumored that it was a close relative of the supreme ferocious beast, the Tao. Before the Dragon Phoenix tribulation, the Taotai was one of the top beast races. Compared to Du Xiaofu's real body, Du Xiaofu was more surprised at Du Xiaofu's unrestrained aura. At the undying and indestructible realm, his aura was surging and distorting the void. It was as though he could shatter the surrounding space at any moment. Rumble, the heavenly music didn't stop. There were 3 divine rings above Du's body. They were like the sun, emitting boundless and majestic pressure. Divine light glittered like a divine miracle. There was a supreme aura pervading the air. It was connected to his body, complementing each other and suppressing the heaven and earth. This is the power of a supreme being. Some of the demonic beasts cried out in alarm. Their eyes were filled with reverence as they prostrated themselves before him. That was the symbol of a supreme being. Lord Lu Yu was a supreme nirvana being, an existence that stood at the pinnacle. Lord Lu Yu is going all out. He wants to avenge his humiliation and kill that human. Supreme Ro Owl, that brat has angered Lord Lu Yu. He's dead for sure. Undying and indestructible cultivation, Supreme Ro Owl body, and Lord Lu Yu are going all out. I'm afraid no one below the sage realm can contend against him. That human is destined to die. The demonic beasts that had suffered a huge blow were stirred up once again. In their eyes, no matter how strong that human was, how could he be a match for Lord Lu Yu? Lord Lu Yu must have been careless previously, allowing that human to take advantage of him. At this moment, Lord Lu Yu was going all out. That human was dead for sure. Lu Limo's purple dress fluttered. She had a cold expression and an enchanting temperament. Her face was calm as she looked at the battlefield quietly. Du Xiaofu's real body stared at Du Xiaofu. At this moment, only he knew that he had miscalculated. That human was very strong and might not be weaker than Lu Limo. Only by going all out could they determine the outcome. Boo! Without the slightest pause, Du's figure dashed and leaped. The Supreme Being's strength followed, and the sound waves spread out like ripples, transforming into energy waves that shook the void. Everywhere it passed, the void and the earth exploded inch by inch, and the scene was extremely shocking. Devouring 8 desolation. Du Xiaofu roared. As the body of the Ro Owl rushed forward, a huge ferocious mouth that was thousands of feet long appeared above the head of the ferocious beast. It was like a black hole in the void, shining brightly. Waves of mysterious runes surged and spread out. A terrifying devouring power swept out from the hole in the void. Walala! In an instant, the valley and the void collapsed. Huge rocks and towering trees were uprooted from the ground and swallowed by the light hole. Even the space collapsed and was devoured. Oh my God! The living beings were shocked and their hair stood on end. This was the terrifying innate skill of the Ro Owl clan. It was rumored that when this skill reached its peak, it could devour everything and destroy everything. Moreover, Du Xiaofu was executing the devouring 8 desolation with the addition of sovereign strength. With the two complementing each other, how terrifying was such a power? Below the sage realm, who can contend against it? Some demonic beast experts cried out in alarm. This power was too terrifying. It wasn't targeted at them, but it made them unable to use their full strength. Otherwise, they would be devoured by the terrifying devouring power. With such a terrifying power, Lu Limo was no longer calm. On her ice-cold face, her eyes fluctuated and light surged out. Rumble! The sovereign strength followed, and 3 divine rings accompanied the huge ferocious mouth. The light was like lightning, submerging the vast valley. The energy rushed out in all directions. Everything was too terrifying. It was like a huge wave sweeping through the sky. Countless mountain rocks and towering trees were swallowed by the light hole. The sky trembled. This was destruction. Du Xiaofu's eyes were cold and emotionless. His blood energy surged. This was his true strength, his trump card. Feeling the strength of his opponent, he didn't dare to be careless. He didn't underestimate his opponent. This kind of power was enough to destroy the world. It caused the valley to boil, and the living beings in all directions trembled. They felt their hair stand on end. Du Xiaofu raised his eyes. Under the terrifying, devouring power, his small body was like a boulder. He didn't move at all. "It's only 3 rings. Not enough." Following which, Du Xiaofu only said this sentence. When his last words fell, his body fluctuated with light. He waved his right hand and turned it into a sword light that swept out. This sword light was illusory, but it condensed into a tangible form. It was suffused with faint electric arcs as it directly slashed towards the all-devouring light hole. In an instant, the sword energy was like a rainbow. Runes interweaved, and the void was silently shattered. Qi La. Du Xiaofu's 3 divine rings filled with sovereign strength were shattered. The huge ferocious mouth was cut into pieces. Following which, there was a Qi La sound as the sword light cut through the air. It was like cutting through tofu, and the horn on Du Xiaofu's head was cut into pieces. Starting from Du Xiaofu's forehead, his head was split into 2. Qi La. Fresh blood splattered high into the sky. Red and white matter splashed everywhere. The sovereign beast's blood congealed and didn't disperse. It released a resplendent light, and it was the most miserable scene. This scene seemed to have caused time and space to stop temporarily. It was fixed in the eyes of all living beings. All the living beings' pupils dilated as if they were going to jump out of their eye sockets. Looking at this scene, they couldn't believe it. All their heartbeats seemed to have stopped. The Nirvana Supreme Beast, Du Xiaofu, was the pride of the Du Xiaofu tribe. He was one of the top 10 experts of the younger generation of the Beast Alliance. When he went all out, he could erupt with endless power. It was difficult for anyone under the Sage Realm to contend against him. But now, under Du Xiaofu's strongest attack, he was directly killed at the crucial moment. It was like a galloping horse that was suddenly overturned and stopped abruptly. In the void of the valley, everything was calm. The terrifying momentum was instantly stopped, and only Du Xiaofu's body was falling. Dead silence. The surroundings were dead silent. It was just one move, and that human youth had actually killed Du Xiaofu. It was clean and neat. All the battle servants and demonic beasts had their mouths agape. Their eyes were wide open as they looked at Du Xiaofu from afar. A chill crept up their hearts. Originally, all the living beings thought that the human was dead for sure. Who would have thought that it would be such an unexpected result? The giant bird that had one of its wings broken by Du Xiaofu was trembling uncontrollably at this moment. At this moment, it finally understood that if it wasn't for the fact that the former didn't use his true strength at the beginning, even 100 of it wouldn't be enough to kill him. It was extremely fortunate that it was still alive. It was the accumulated merit of its ancestors. At this moment, Lu Limo's eyes were finally filled with turbulent waves. She stared at Du Xiaofu as if she couldn't regain her senses. Only Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger Du, and the rest who were far away weren't surprised. They weren't worried at all from the beginning to the end. This result had always been within their expectations. Du Xiaofu didn't pay much attention to killing the Du Xiaofu. The first move was just to test the waters. He wanted to understand the powerful demonic beast's descendants. Since the other party had killed him, there was no need to stay. Although Du Xiaofu didn't want to cause any more trouble, he didn't have to worry about it when there was too much trouble. Since you want to provoke me, you'll have to pay the price. Du Xiaofu's gaze fell on the group of people following Du Xiaofu, including the Goldbiter rat clan. He didn't want to cause any more trouble, but he really couldn't show mercy. Du Xiaofu was probably brought here by the Goldbiter rats. Immediately, Du Xiaofu made his move. While Du Xiaofu and the rest of Du Xiaofu's group were terrified, he started a massacre. Bang bang bang, explosions rang out in the air. Du Xiaofu was merciless in his attacks. The power of his primordial spirit gushed out, and it didn't take him much effort. Dozens of powerful demonic beasts and battle servants were killed. This was a merciless slaughter. The head of the skinny young man from the Goldbiter rat clan was shattered under the despair and fear in his eyes. Not long ago, he had escaped with his life. But now he was dead. He had brought about his own death. Run, quickly run. He's massacring our beast clan. Quickly run. Around the valley, the terrified demonic beasts regained their senses. While their bodies were still weak, they immediately scattered and fled in all directions. Du Xiaofu didn't chase after them. He only killed the group of demonic beasts and battle servants that came with Du Xiaofu and kept the resplendent mystic bones in his Qiankuan bag. Chapter 2270. These were the bones of a group of Archean demonic beast descendants, and they were all demonic beasts with decent cultivation. Although Du Xiaofu himself might not be interested in these mysterious bones, they were valuable treasures to the disciples of the desolate country and the Du family. They were of great value. Lu Limo did not leave. She kept staring at Du Xiaofu in shock, as if trying to figure out something. Sigh, I didn't expect them to be so ugly. I can't even eat them if I stew them or roast them. Du Xiaofu walked over to the corpse of the roe owl that was the true form of the roe deer and dug out the secret bones with ease. Roe Yu's body was a great tonic, but it was too ugly. Du Xiaofu could not eat it, so he could only collect the sovereign blood in the body. That was definitely a valuable treasure. Little Tiger, Du Xiaoqing, and Ouyang Shuang waited in the distance. They did not come closer, nor did they come to help. Du Xiaofu had already sent a message to Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaoqing, and the others, telling them to keep their distance and act as if they did not know them. After killing so many demonic beasts, especially after killing Diyu, Du Xiaofu had no choice but to be prepared. News of everything that happened here would definitely spread quickly. At that time, the experts of the Roe Owl clan, the Goldbiter rats, and the other clans would definitely make a move. Du Xiaofu was not afraid, but he had to think for Ouyang Shuang and the others. Eat this wing and roast it. This flood dragon is not bad either, we can stew it. After that, Du Xiaofu set up a stove and a large cauldron. He threw a piece of flood dragon meat with an extremely high bloodline into the cauldron and added a lot of spiritual herbs to stew it. Du Xiaofu roasted the bird's wing on the stove and sprinkled the spices he carried with him. Not long after, the fragrance of the meat filled the air. Du Xiaofu had not had a good meal for a long time. He could not help but drool when he smelled it. He immediately rolled up his sleeves, tore off the bird's wing, and drank the soup in big mouthfuls. Lu Limo had been watching from the side. Her cold expression couldn't help but change. This lecher was obviously an unfathomable expert, but at this moment, he was behaving like a hooligan. He was incomparably ferocious. What kind of person was he? Why hadn't she heard of him before? Cruel, too cruel, cruel. That human really demonic beast clan, it's terrifying. That human is even picky with his food and despises Lord Lu Yu for being ugly. What kind of person is he? Far away from the valley, the demonic beasts that were fleeing. Seeing that Du Xiaofu had no intention of chasing after them, they stopped and looked at him, of the beasts of demonic beasts. Seeing the scene in the valley, the Beidos out the beasts outs. That guy said, that guy was not to beasts of God beasts thinking out. This matter is not over yet. That human killed so many of our Beast Alliance's extraordinary juniors. The Beast Alliance will not let this matter rest. Especially the Roe Deer clan. With a junior like Lord Roe Deer Yu dying, the experts of the Roe Deer clan will definitely not let this matter rest. I'm afraid that a Saint Beast Realm expert might come out. Some of the demonic beasts discussed softly. Although Roe Owl clan was dead, this matter was far from over. In fact, it was just the beginning. After killing so many extraordinary juniors of the Beast Alliance, especially juniors like Roe Owl clan's honorable martial artist, they would definitely be enraged and send out a sacred Beast Realm expert. The Beast Alliance would not let this matter rest either. They might even take action against the human race in advance. This would cause a storm. Goo goo. At this moment the pitiful ones were Little Tiger, Little Green, and the rest. They could smell the fragrance of the meat, but they had to keep a distance and could not eat it. This was torture. They could not help but drool as they swallowed their saliva. Do you guys want to try some? Seeing Du Xiaoqing and Little Tiger drooling, Du Xiaofu could not bear it and asked loudly. Yes. Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, Qingwan, Little Green, Dai Xingyu, and the rest could not hold it in any longer. They immediately rushed over and ate heartily. Lu Limo's gaze was a little strange as she secretly sized up Du Xiaoqing, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and the rest. Especially when she saw those beautiful ladies eating like that lecher, Lu Limo could not help but frown. Little girl, do you want to try some? It tastes good. Du Xiaofu looked at Lu Limo, who was not far away, and asked with a faint smile. Lu Limo looked at Du Xiaofu and her gaze involuntarily swept across the pile of barbecued meat and soup. The fragrance of the meat made her swallow her saliva uncontrollably. However, she held it in and shook her head, replying, "No need." Then forget it. Du Xiaofu did not insist. After all, it was not enough for Du Xiaoqing and Little Tiger, who had huge appetites. Chewing on the barbecued wing, his gaze slightly moved as he said to Lu Limo, "You're still not leaving. Are you waiting for the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul?" Hearing this, Lu Limo's expression immediately became alert. Her eyes looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "You're also here for the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul? Tell me about the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul. I don't know much about it." Du Xiaofu said. Lu Limo looked at Du Xiaofu and hesitated for a moment. She didn't want to tell him, but for some reason she couldn't help but say, "The artifact soul is a sword, but the body of the sword has been destroyed long ago. The artifact soul, however, survived and was born not long ago." What's the difference between an immemorial sacred weapon and an ordinary sacred weapon? Du Xiaofu asked. An immemorial sacred weapon is from before the Great Calamity. It was made by the immemorial experts and is made with Xiantian refining materials. At the same level, an immemorial sacred weapon is much stronger than an ordinary sacred weapon. It's not something that an ordinary sacred weapon can compare to. Lu Limo said with a cold expression. I see. Du Xiaofu had some understanding now. The immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul is very strong, intelligent, and cunning. I've chased it all the way here, but I've already lost its trace. It should have escaped far away. Lu Limo said to Du Xiaofu. Hee, you're not honest. You actually want to lie to me. Du Xiaofu laughed. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he patted his sleeves and looked at Lu Limo. What do you mean? Looking at Du Xiaofu, Lu Limo's eyes secretly flickered. That lecher's gaze seemed to be able to see through her, causing her to have a feeling that she did not dare to look straight at him. The immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul should be below. Otherwise, why would you stay here? You're trying to trick me. Du Xiaofu looked at Lu Limo with a faint smile. Possessing the scarlet demonic horse monkey meridian soul, he already knew that this valley not only contained the 9-leaf gold star vine sacred medicine, but also the vessel spirit of the immemorial sacred weapon. You want to snatch the artifact soul. There was no way to hide it anymore. Lu Limo looked straight at Du Xiaofu. She had been chasing after the immemorial sacred weapon soul. That was something she had to obtain. She never thought that this lecher would also be here for the immemorial sacred weapons soul. The immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul was indeed hidden below the valley. Because of her pursuit, the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul had hidden here. Unintentionally, the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul had also attracted many demonic beast experts and this lecher. However, Lu Limo never expected that this lecher would know the whereabouts of the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul. Treasures belong to those who are fated to obtain them. How can it be considered snatching? When his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's figure had already disappeared. He flashed through a crack near the immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul. At the same time, he transmitted his voice to Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaoqing, and the others, asking them to wait at the agreed location. Looking at Du Xiaofu's figure disappearing, Lu Limo's expression changed. Her figure swept across the sky and followed closely behind. The crack was large enough for one person to pass through. It was getting wider and wider. The surrounding rock walls were greenish-brown and dark. There was no light at all. However, this did not affect Du Xiaofu at all. The immemorial sacred weapons artifact soul seemed to have some sort of concealment ability that could prevent prying. However, Du Xiaofu already knew the whereabouts of the artifact soul with the scarlet demonic monkey's primordial spirit. After a while, he seemed to have gone deep into the ground. The area became wider and wider, like a huge karst cave. The surroundings started to emit a faint light. Buzz! When Du Xiaofu's figure appeared here, the purple-gold heavenly tower in the heavenly towers suddenly buzzed and boiled. If it was not for Du Xiaofu's suppression, it would have already escaped from the heavenly tower. Boom! At the same time, the karst cave trembled. The ground shook and the mountains shook as if it was going to collapse at any time. Buzz! Suddenly, a resplendent light swept out from the rock wall like lightning. It seemed like it was going to break out of the door. Artifact soul! Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. At the same time, a resplendent golden light swept out from his hand and enveloped it. Buzz! Wind and thunder roared as the resplendent light transformed into a seemingly solid sword. The talisman script emitted a dazzling light. The tip of the sword tore through the void and pierced through it. Where do you think you're going? This kind of change was beyond Du Xiaofu's expectations. He raised his palm and bent his 5 fingers, turning them into a claw and grabbing at the tip of the sword. Chi-la! Pain came from his palm. Du Xiaofu's expression changed. The tip of the sword seemed to be unstoppable. A feather-like armor immediately covered his palm and exploded with the sound of metal clashing. Sparks flew as Du Xiaofu distorted the void and suppressed the tip of the sword. However, a strange scene appeared. The tip of the sword dissipated and turned into talisman script that disappeared without a trace. How strange! Du Xiaofu put away the feathery armor covering his palm. There was a small wound on his palm, and faint golden blood was seeping out. With his physical body, he was actually injured. This made Du Xiaofu feel strange. The artifact soul was very strange. Purple electric arcs fluctuated and the wound on his palm healed. Buzz! Du Xiaofu looked forward. The light in the karst cave shone brightly, and the materialized sword appeared again. The sound waves were sonorous, and a mighty pressure spread out. It was like the king of all weapons, causing the entire karst cave to tremble. Buzz buzz! Within Du Xiaofu's divine watchtower, the purple-gold heavenly watchtower was boiling and glowing, wanting to break out of his body. What a strong pressure! Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. This must be the artifact soul of the immemorial saint artifact. It was merely an artifact soul, but its might was far greater than that of an ordinary saint artifact. Even if you can find the artifact soul, it will be difficult for you to take it for yourself. There is no way you can trap it. Chapter 2271. Lu Limo's voice could be heard. Her beautiful figure walked into the karst cave. She looked at the weapon's spirit, and there were ripples in her eyes. What do you mean? Du Xiaofu asked Lu Limo. This artifact soul was indeed strange. This artifact soul requires a special method to be able to suppress it. Lu Limo's eyes calmed down. This artifact soul wasn't something that could be suppressed by ordinary methods. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chased them all the way here. After pausing for a moment, Lu Limo continued, I won't hide it from you. This weapon's soul came from before the great calamity. Its previous owner was an almighty who comprehended space and contained the profound of space. Although the sword's body has been destroyed long ago, the remnant of the weapon's soul has absorbed more and more spiritual energy from heaven and earth. It also retained the mysterious space technique that its previous owner gave it. Ordinary methods can't deal with it. I see. Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered. It seemed that the soul of this ancient sacred item was not ordinary. His eyes lit up. I have a way to suppress this artifact soul. Let's work together. Otherwise, no one will be able to get it. If it escapes again, who knows when we'll be able to catch up? Lu Limo said to Du Xiaofu. Thank you for telling me this, but I won't believe you. Du Xiaofu replied. His gaze was fixed on the primordial artifact soul. Awu, the artifact soul glowed. Amidst the surge of mysterious runes, it turned into the shadow of a strange beast. It roared as if it wanted to distort the void. Its eyes were fixed on Du Xiaofu and Lu Limo. What do you mean? Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Lu Limo frowned and said, You can't suppress this artifact soul. We only have a chance if we work together. That's not necessarily true. Du Xiaofu's eyes moved slightly and he smiled faintly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he quickly formed a seal in his hand. Runes flew out from the seal and spread around the cave. Boom! The void froze for no reason. When Du Xiaofu's last hand's seal formed, the entire cave trembled. In an instant, it was completely distorted. Bright electric arcs fluctuated. Brr! At this moment, the eyes of the beast formed by the artifact soul fluctuated violently, as if it had sensed something. As it roared, monstrous energy erupted, and an extremely terrifying and sharp aura swept out in all directions. Swish, swish, swish. The artifact spirit opened its mouth and spat out countless sword rays, which spread out like arcs of light. Countless sword phantoms shot out at the same time, causing the karst cave to tremble violently as they swept towards Du Xiaofu. Wherever these sword phantoms passed, mysterious and dazzling runes would appear. They were like thunderbolts, and space would collapse soundlessly. These sword rays were too frightening. They were merely the power of the artifact spirit, yet they seemed to be able to cause the earth to churn and move mountains and seas. The terrifying sword momentum instantly spread to the front of Du Xiaofu. Be careful! Lu Limo couldn't help but exclaim under such a terrifying aura. She was well aware of how terrifying this artifact soul was. If she didn't have something that could restrain it, she wouldn't have dared to chase after it. Rumble! Du Xiaofu didn't dare to be careless. He had seen the extraordinariness of this strange artifact spirit. Lightning erupted from his body, and countless dazzling electric arcs surged out like spiritual snakes. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, and the void trembled as it blocked the countless sword rays. Chi-la-la! The vacuum in the karst cave sank, and a large area of vacuum was revealed. Pitch-black cracks spread out, and the electric arcs and sword rays shattered, causing energy to surge. If it wasn't for Du Xiaofu's restriction, the karst cave wouldn't have been able to withstand the impact and would have collapsed. Stomp, stomp, Du Xiaofu took 2 steps back. There were several cracks on his robe, and a few scars could be vaguely seen on the surface of his body. The scars were very shallow, and there were faint traces of blood, but no real blood flowed out. Strange, but very strong. Du Xiaofu was surprised, but his eyes shone even brighter. This artifact spirit was too strange. The sword rays seemed to have some kind of terrifying and mysterious power that could silently pierce through space. It was difficult to block. If Du Xiaofu's physical body was weaker, he would have been injured. You've reached the Sage Realm. You're a Sage Realm expert. Lu Limo was shocked. Her eyes stared at Du Xiaofu, and her cold face was completely shaken. She knew very well that an ordinary Sage Realm expert wouldn't be able to block the attack of an immemorial sacred artifact spirit. No wonder Du couldn't withstand a single blow. Lu Limo finally understood that this lecher had been hiding his cultivation all this time. He had definitely stepped into the Sage Realm, and he wasn't an ordinary Sage Realm expert. Artifact Spirit, why don't we discuss this? You can come with me. One day, I will definitely gather the strongest refining materials in the world to refine your sword body and restore your former invincible might. What do you think? Du Xiaofu looked at the artifact spirit and said, the immemorial sacred artifact spirit had a spirit, and Du Xiaofu didn't want to destroy it. If the artifact spirit could follow him, it would be the best choice. In the future, he could gather the best refining materials and refine the sacred artifact. With such an artifact spirit, it could become a divine weapon again. You don't deserve me to follow you. The strange beast condensed by the artifact spirit stared at Du Xiaofu, and its voice was sharp. Whoosh! As soon as its voice fell, the strange beast's shadow suddenly changed, and it instantly turned into a sword that was originally materialized. It swept towards Du Xiaofu, and the sword shadow was hazy as if it was wrapped in divine light, containing endless changes. This sword was too strong, and a large number of spatial cracks collapsed one after another. The broken talisman shone brightly, and compared to the countless sword rays just now, it was undoubtedly more terrifying. If you want to fight, then I'll have to accompany you. At this moment, a purple gold light suddenly surged in Du Xiaofu's eyes. Bwr! Awoo! An incomparably domineering aura suddenly spread out from the body of the divine disguise technique. It was like a peerless divine beast flapping its wings and sweeping across the sky. Accompanied by the roars of dragons and tigers, the cries of birds and turtles reverberated in the karst cave like muffled thunder. The purple gold heavenly tower appeared in Du Xiaofu's hands, and the purple gold light filled the sky. Holding the sword hilt tightly with both hands, he directly slashed out at the sword shadow in front of him with the strength to split a mountain. This sword was simple, domineering, and sharp, without any fancy moves. However, a powerful energy pressure spread out from the sword, causing the entire karst cave to shake violently. Accompanied by dazzling talisman scripts and electric arcs, the two sword rays instantly collided like thunder, and the sudden muffled sound was like thunder. The terrifying energy turned into ripples of talisman scripts, and suddenly swept out like a tsunami. The monstrous energy instantly exploded, and countless sword rays were shattered. Lu Limo, who was at the side, retreated rapidly, her eyes filled with horror. Du Xiaofu's figure did not move at all. With the purple gold heavenly tower in his hands, the aura of a peerless divine weapon was raging. It was like a tiger's bones and a dragon's bones, like a phoenix facing the sun, like a divine tortoise entrenched in the ground. Divine weapon, this is a divine weapon. Such a divine weapon shocked Lu Limo. It was not something an ordinary sacred weapon could compare to. Sword body, this is the sword body I want. The weapon's soul stared at the purple gold heavenly tower and let out a sound, trembling non-stop. This was the sword body it was looking for. As you wish. Du Xiaofu's eyes moved, and he smiled slightly, and the purple gold heavenly tower in his hands left his hands. Buzz. The purple gold heavenly tower could not hold back any longer, and suddenly, it was like a wild horse that had broken free of its reins. Light filled the sky, and the sound of wind and thunder resounded, and it directly pounced on the weapon's soul. Human, you're overestimating yourself. Do you think it can swallow me? This sword body is mine. The weapon's soul opened its mouth, and its voice was sharp. The sword shadow turned into a sword light, and it was like lightning. It seemed to have self-control, and it actually plunged into the purple gold heavenly tower. Du Xiaofu did not stop it, and it saved him some trouble. Swish! When the weapon's soul entered the purple gold heavenly tower, Du Xiaofu directly sat cross-legged on the ground. He formed a seal, and the purple gold heavenly tower was immediately sucked into the heavenly tower. Lu Limo's expression changed greatly, and her charming face turned pale. It was not because Du Xiaofu had sucked in the weapon's soul, but as if she was worried for Du Xiaofu instead. Boom! In the space within the purple gold heavenly tower, the weapon's soul of the immemorial sacred weapon plunged into it, and it turned into a dazzling shadow of a strange beast. It distorted the void, and its aura was incomparably sharp and extremely vast. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, shocking and dazzling talisman markings shot into the sky, and a fiendish aura erupted out like a volcano. Buzz! Buzz! In this space, there were suddenly gusts of wind and thunder, and the cries of ghosts and gods were like the roars of gods and demons. A terrifying and fierce aura swept out, causing one's soul to tremble. Such a change caused the weapon soul's strange beast shadow to change its expression, and it revealed a shocked expression. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, countless sword radiances expanded around the strange beast shadow, and the sword chi was incomparably sharp, as if it could pierce through the void. Buzz! Buzz! Wind and thunder resounded, and a purple gold heavenly tower shadow appeared amidst the surging evil aura. This was the weapon soul of the purple gold heavenly tower. Vast and mighty pressure spread out, and an ancient aura swept out and filled the air. I want this sword body. The strange beast opened its mouth, and the sword radiance filled the sky. It immediately pounced on the weapon soul of the purple gold heavenly tower. Awoo! The weapon soul of the purple gold heavenly tower let out the roars of dragons and tigers, and the cries of birds and turtles. Wind and thunder rumbled, and runes spread out in the sky like fireworks. An extremely fierce and terrifying aura, as if it came from the 9 hells, and from the demonic realm, could impact the heavens and earth, shattering the sky, and directly destroying the strange beast's sword radiance. Chapter 2272. The strange beast phantom formed by the artifact spirit was surprised. Its gaze was like a sword as strange runes spread out. Suddenly, the space in this area trembled strangely. There was a mysterious power that completely distorted the space around them. This energy was too terrifying. The strange beast phantom appeared in front of the artifact spirit at the same time. It opened its ferocious mouth and sword light spewed out. The space distorted as if it wanted to destroy everything. The artifact spirit was imprisoned for no reason. The space was sealed and bound by a mysterious force. Roar! At the same time, a dazzling gold light appeared. The strange energy of this confined space couldn't stop it. The dazzling gold light turned into a massive golden ape. Mysterious golden talismans covered its body. It was full of vitality, giving people a feeling of the beginning of the world and the beginning of all things. It seemed to be able to pierce through all kinds of power Upanishads. Suppress. Roar. The golden ape roared. Its eyes were lively as if it was born with spiritual eyes looking down on everything. A terrifying aura erupted. It raised its arm and punched. It seemed to push in all directions and suppress everything as it blasted towards the strange sword-like beast. This was Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit. The scarlet horse monkey's body had entered the space inside the purple gold heavenly palace. Rumble. Roar. The punch of the scarlet horse monkey's primordial spirit also contained a strange power. It could ignore the strange power of the former that affected space and directly push the strange sword-like beast back. The artifact spirit was powerful. Its power was comparable to that of an early-stage saint. Coupled with that strange power, it was difficult to deal with. However, Du Xiaofu's scarlet pheasant monkey's body was definitely not inferior to his physical body. The artifact soul of the primordial saint artifact could not resist it. Roar. As the strange sword-like beast was pushed back, the purple runes on the purple gold heavenly palace exploded with dazzling light. A purple gold spatial vortex appeared. The fiendish aura swept out like a hurricane. Ghosts cried and gods howled. The light was dazzling. It contained the might of dragon and tiger and the chi of phoenix martial arts. It was so dazzling that people could not look at it directly. The ominous grounds the terrifying was to find opportunities to shatter all his strength directly. The purple gold heavenly tower erupted with the might into surging energy in Du Xiaofu's body. Fiendish chi surging energy was not something an ordinary person could withstand. Of the world. However, it was not a problem for Du Xiaofu. Frantically absorbing the energy of the sword-like cultivation method of the golden-winged great sword-like clan and refined it, turning it into pure xian qi that surged into the heavens, distorting the golden star vine of this level was a sacred medicine. It was not as simple as being able to transform into surging energy. If that was the case, it would not be worthy of being called a sacred medicine. There was a mysterious energy contained within that nourished the body, cleansed the primordial spirit, and aided in comprehension. This was the true value of the 9-leaf golden star vine. After a while, Du Xiaofu was immersed in it. As he refined the 9-leaf golden star vine in his body, the primordial sacred artifact's artifact soul was constantly being refined in the purple gold heavenly tower space. The scarlet horse monkey's primordial spirit transformed into a 5-fingered mountain to suppress it. As the purple gold heavenly tower's artifact spirit devoured and refined the primordial sacred artifact soul, the purple gold heavenly tower's artifact spirit became stronger and stronger. Its surging aura rose in a straight line. Once it was completely refined, the purple gold Heavenly Tower's artifact spirit would be able to reach a higher level. Time passed slowly. In the outside world, many places were in an uproar, causing a storm. One of the top 10 experts among the younger generation of the Beast Alliance, Luo Yu, a supreme junior of the Luo Owl clan, had been killed by a human in 2 moves. Many outstanding juniors of the major clans had also been killed. This had caused a huge commotion in the Beast Alliance. I didn't expect Lu Yu to be killed. In the Beast Alliance, many beasts were flabbergasted when they heard the news. Such an extraordinary junior of the supreme being level had actually died. Furthermore, he had died in the hands of a human youth. This was unacceptable. Was it a human youth who did it? That's impossible. It must be one of those old fellows of the human race who secretly did it. Who in the human race's younger generation could kill Lu Yu? There are more consecutive shots around 12. I'll continue writing first. Chapter 2273. The vast space was filled with clouds and mist, but it was filled with the aura of blood. This was the place where the Ro Owl clan resided. Many of the elders of the Ro Owl clan widened their eyes in anger. They firmly believed that among their peers in the human race, there was absolutely no one who had the strength to kill Diyu. Investigate. Investigate. Find that person. Don't let him go. Someone from the Ro Owl race roared loudly, shaking the void as blood energy rushed into the heavens. Daring to touch my heavenly fire flame scale Jiao's disciple, the human clan sure has guts. Investigate for me and find his whereabouts. The disciples of the Goldbiter rats aren't people the human race can touch. Find that kid and don't let him go. For a time, a great commotion had already arisen, and an unprecedented storm was brewing. A human youngster, huh? To be able to kill Diyu, that's interesting. On a tall mountain, under a towering tree, a boorish young man with the temperament of a lion was staring at the sky. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and his eyes were filled with cold battle intent. Looks like Lu Limo isn't the only one in the human race. Inside the ancient stone pavilion, a handsome young man with a slender figure spoke. His dark brown eyes emitted a mesmerizing glow. I want that battle servant. Amidst the mountains, a beautiful figure stood there. Her figure was graceful, and her head of fiery red hair slanted down to her slender waist, which formed an incomparably hot arc with her perky breasts. Many places were in an uproar as all kinds of news spread. I heard that quite a few of the top 10 young masters have already left the mountains. They want to find that human youth and subdue him as a battle servant. The top 10 experts of the younger generation, each stronger than the last. Diyu is only ranked 10th. This time, that human youth is in for it. He won't be able to escape. That's not all. I've heard that many big clans have dispatched experts to kill that human youth. It's very likely that there are already Saint Beast experts who have stepped out. Xiao Gu of the Heaven-Howling Demonic Lion clan had already spoken. He wanted to find that human before the experts of the Gold-Devouring Rats, Ro Owls, and other clans. The 8 Desolation Demonic Dragon clans Qing Long has also spoken. As long as you provide information about that young human, you will be heavily rewarded. Xiao Yao of the Overlord Python clan has already appeared, and has already declared that he wants to subdue that human youth as his battle servant. Heavens, Xiao Gu, Qing Long, Xiao Yao, these are all supremes, they actually all appeared. The entire place was in an uproar. Wherever there were demonic beasts, there was a lot of discussion. All the beasts could sense that a storm was about to descend upon this land. Mountains rose and fell, stretching as far as the eye could see, covering countless ancient buildings. Auspicious beasts gathered in groups, and spiritual birds flapped their wings. It was a scene of peace and tranquility. Someone killed Diyu. Which family's disciple is it? Within the main hall, there was a majestic middle-aged man with an extraordinary temperament. His eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. Could it be an ancestor? With Lu Yu's strength, he was killed in 2 moves. I'm afraid that even if Li Mo went all out, it wouldn't be possible. An old man wondered. There hasn't been any news of the patriarch going out recently, so it must be that young man from the rumors who did it. This time, he's going to wipe out a lot of the prestige of those demonic beasts. An old woman spoke, her face filled with joy. Li Mo is still in the territory of those demonic beasts. Now that Du Yu has been killed, those people from the Beast Alliance will definitely not let this matter rest. This is going to be troublesome. If that young man is really a disciple of our human race, nothing can happen to him. No matter if it's Li Mo or that young man, neither of them can fall into the hands of the Beast Alliance. An old man's eyes narrowed. That was the future of the human race, and nothing can happen to it. It's a pity that we can't casually enter the Beast Alliance's territory. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the Beast Alliance will have an excuse to invade us. We're not ready yet. Sigh. An old man sighed. He seemed to be staggering, but there was a strong aura in his appearance. I hope that young man and Li Mo can return safely. Sigh. The majestic middle-aged man who spoke first released a divine light in his eyes, and said, "Investigate that young man's identity with all your might. I want to know which family's disciple has such talent to strengthen the prestige of our human race." Sigh. In just 2 days, the outside world was in an uproar. At this moment, in the underground crevice, Lu Limo was sitting cross-legged. On her cold and enchanting face, her eyes fell on Du Xiaofu from time to time, and her expression changed. Lu Limo was surprised to find that the aura of that ferocious guy gave her a feeling that it was rising in a straight line. Without a doubt, it was the aura of the Saint Realm. It was incomparably domineering, like a supreme being demonic beast. Behind Du Xiaofu, golden light shone brightly, filling the entire cave. The golden talisman scriptures changed, forming the shadow of a golden-winged rock. It flapped its wings as if it wanted to shake the 9 heavens. Golden-winged rock. Umph. Lu Limo secretly gasped, and her soft tongue licked her red lips. That's a golden-winged rock. Is this ferocious guy a human or a golden-winged rock? This is too strange. Chapter 2274. Translator. H2-2 Mr. On a barren land, dark red clouds hovered in the sky. The temperature was cold, and at the end of the line of sight was a strange, snowy mountain. Below the snow-capped mountain, there was an endless stretch of forest. The dense, towering trees were like giant umbrellas that held up the sky. Layers upon layers of branches covered the originally dim light, leaving only specks of light and shadows, giving off an inexplicable sense of oppression. Oh, in the depths of the forest, it was quiet and silent, but in the depths of the forest, there were occasional roars of beasts. On top of a towering tree, a woman was leaning against the tree. Her eyebrows were like emerald feathers, and her skin was white as snow. Her fine black hair was tied into a simple hairstyle behind her head. Her clothes that outlined her graceful curves were stained with blood. Her clear and watery eyes that were like colored glass were looking forward. After stuffing a few medicinal pills into her mouth, she stepped on a branch and flashed away into the dense forest. Mountains stood tall, valleys were secluded and narrow, and streams gurgled. The sky was very dark, so dark that it looked dark in the distance. The mountains in the distance were dark, and the forest was dark as well. That was close. Luckily we escaped. On a flat boulder, a little girl and a little boy sat upright. They were in a sorry state, their clothes torn, their hair disheveled, and there were bloodstains. The girl was very young, but her pair of big round eyes still looked very lively at this moment. But the harvest was also very big. Those guys were very unlucky, they all died. The little boy was tall and strong, giving people the feeling of a fierce lion or a rock cub. At the moment, there was a satisfied smile on his pale face. He held a golden piece of paper in his hand. It was a page of scripture, and an ancient aura filled the air. He said, "Find a place, I want to comprehend it first. I also want to heal. Do you still have any spirit medicine? Give me some." The little girl looked at the little boy and said, "I gave you all the spirit medicine I got on the way." The little boy immediately looked at the little girl speechlessly. "Forget it, I still have a few treasured medicine." The little girl pouted. "Half of it is mine, you can't eat it. I plan to leave it for Burly Do and Young Do. the young boy suddenly became nervous. He knew that Du Xiaohuang was a foodie. There are plenty of them here. When the time comes, we'll just find them for them. We have to increase our strength first. This place is indeed dangerous. We have to find my father and sister Xingxing as soon as possible. Du Xiaohuang had some lingering fear in her heart. She secretly came here and realized that it was really dangerous. She had escaped from death several times, but the harvest was not small. The two small figures then left quietly. They were very careful and did not leave any traces behind. Chi. In the cave, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. Golden light shot out from his eyes like golden lightning, slowly converging into a clear and bright light. However, Du Xiaofu's eyes immediately became somewhat lifeless. From the information he had obtained from the soul of the immemorial saint weapon, the mysterious voice should have been left behind by the owner of the immemorial saint weapon. The sword body of the immemorial saint weapon should have been called Sky Slashing. For some reason, the sword body of the immemorial saint weapon had been destroyed, leaving behind a soul that contained the 3 Sky Slashing swords. It was left behind by its owner. The 3 swords were very vast, but with Du Xiaofu's comprehension ability, he felt that he had comprehended a lot, but for some reason he felt that something was missing. However, Du Xiaofu was sure that the 3 swords were too extraordinary. It was left behind by the owner of Sky Slayer. It was his inheritance. An inheritance from an expert that existed before the Dragon Phoenix Major Tribulation. What a great opportunity! Are you okay? Lu Limo's voice entered Du Xiaofu's ears. Looking at Du Xiaofu's dull expression, she thought that he had gone mad. Huff! Du Xiaofu came back to his senses and exhaled a long breath of turbid air from the divine watchtower. It shook the void, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. At this moment, the profound energy in the divine watchtower surged violently and increased explosively. Refining the 9-leaf golden star vine was only one of the benefits he obtained. Also, refining the soul of the sacred weapon, Sky Slayer, in the purple gold heavenly watchtower gave him a lot of benefits. Feeling the aura on his body, Du Xiaofu estimated that he was about to reach the peak of the initial stage of the Saint Realm. Not only did he obtain the soul of the sacred weapon, but it also contained the inheritance of an ancient expert that existed before the Dragon Phoenix Major Tribulation. Such a harvest was so great that even with his state of mind, he couldn't help but feel happy. However, Du Xiaofu also felt a little regretful. The 3 swords seemed to be missing something and he hadn't completely comprehended it. What's wrong with you? You can't have gone mad, right? Seeing that Du Xiaofu was smiling in a daze, but he didn't say anything, Lu Limo stood up and felt a little nervous. How could I have gone mad? Du Xiaofu stretched his body as cracking sounds could be heard from his shoulder joints. He smiled at Lu Limo and said, "Why don't you attack me? Who knows, you might be able to succeed when I'm unprepared." Lu Limo glared at Du Xiaofu. This ferocious guy had already set up a restriction in the cave. She had already tried to break it, but she couldn't. Even if she killed this guy and took back the soul of the sacred weapon, she wouldn't be able to get out. She would be trapped here forever. Suddenly, Lu Limo saw the smile on Du Xiaofu's face that she didn't like no matter how she looked at it. Her eyes flashed as she asked, You've subdued Zhang Kong's weapon spirit? So you're still hiding something from me?" Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. Lu Limo actually knew the name of the sacred weapon. She must have been hiding it from him from the beginning. Hearing this, Lu Limo's eyes flickered. She looked at Du Xiaofu and bit her lips. The master of Sky Slayer was an almighty of the human race. His name was Wukong Saint. It was said that during the calamity, the human race was also affected. Wukong Saint died, and Sky Slayer was destroyed. Not long ago, Sky Slayer's soul was born. It was said that the inheritance of Wukong Saint might be hidden in Sky Slayer's soul. Compared to Sky Slayer's soul, Wukong Saint's inheritance is far more important. Hearing Lu Limo's words, Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered. He guessed that she was telling the truth, so he didn't hide it and said, "I've already obtained Sky Slayer's soul." "You've also obtained Wukong Saint's inheritance?" Lu Limo's body trembled. That was Wukong Saint's inheritance. It was too important to the human race. It was much more important than the soul itself. You can say that. Du Xiaofu nodded and didn't say much. After all, he still hadn't fully comprehended the three sword moves. Phew! Hearing this, Lu Limo took a deep breath. Her chest heaved up and down, making her figure even more alluring. Her expression was a little gloomy. She had chased after him for so long and put in so much effort. She didn't expect Wukong Saint's inheritance to fall into the hands of this ferocious guy who appeared out of nowhere. There's a sacred beast realm expert coming. I'll go out first. This seal can prevent detection. After half an hour, it will automatically disappear. You can leave then. As Du Xiaofu spoke, the smile on his face gradually subsided. It was precisely because he had sensed the arrival of a Saint Beast powerhouse that he had awakened. Du Xiaofu guessed that there was a sacred beast realm expert approaching. It was most likely related to him. Sacred beast realm. Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Lu Limo's expression changed. She frowned. With her status, if she fell into the hands of those demonic beasts, the outcome would be unimaginable. The valley was in a mess. Cracks were everywhere. Collapsed boulders were everywhere. The creatures that were surrounding the valley had already left. The human and Lu Limo had left. The 9-leaf golden star vine was also taken by the human youth. It was useless to stay. Du Xiaofu and Lu Limo didn't enter the crack openly. With their strength, the demonic beasts that were watching from afar couldn't find any traces of them. But now, an old man in a red robe appeared in the valley. Chapter 2275. Is that human kid here? Chase after him. Intercept him. Almost at the same time, two figures tore through the void and appeared in the sky. Then they disappeared. Two mighty auras flashed and disappeared, shaking the surroundings. The Holy Beast Realm expert has appeared and found that human youth. The Holy Beast Realm expert has indeed appeared. That human youth is dead for sure. In the dense forest deep in the mountains, some people looked up and trembled. The majestic aura of the Holy Beast Realm expert flashed by and almost made them collapse on the spot. I wonder which expert will kill that human youth. How dare a human come to the Beast Alliance's territory so arrogantly? He must be tired of living. Let's go. That human is destined to die. The Beast Alliance meeting is about to begin. We can't miss it. Let's hurry. I wonder who will be the commander of this Beast Alliance meeting. The Lord of all beasts, the sovereign of the beast race. Discussions were everywhere. This was the Beast Alliance's territory and there were beasts everywhere. The Beast Alliance meeting was definitely a grand event. In the karst cave below the valley, the seal gradually disappeared. Lu Limo's beautiful figure appeared in the valley. She looked at the void with a complicated expression. Then, she tapped her feet on the ground and disappeared in a flash of light. In the vast mountain range, the mountains were connected and undulating. In the deep and serene gorge, an unfathomable and dense mountain aura rose like a veil, delicate and graceful. Together with the rough mountain range, it seemed to form a living landscape painting. Will Brother Xiaofu be all right? On a giant rock in the valley, the green phoenix little Qing leaned lazily and looked at the ethereal clouds in the void. Her clear and bright eyes had a faint green radiance and her long eyelashes were slightly curled. Brother Xiaofu will be fine. Dai Xingyu was certain. Her brows were like the distant mountains and her lips were as red as cinnabar. She was growing increasingly attractive. Let's just wait for him. There shouldn't be any problems. Ouyang Shuang said. She was well aware of Du Xiaofu's strength. As long as he did not encounter those primordial experts who had emerged from the Tomb of Eternity, there would not be much of a problem. With third young master's strength, he'll be able to deal with a holy beast. The little tiger was also very confident. I'm back. As soon as little tiger finished speaking, a figure appeared out of thin air. This was a young man with a rough build. He was dressed in tight clothes, revealing his bulging arms, which made him look very powerful. When the young man appeared, Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaoqing, and the others were stunned for a moment before they recognized him. Big brother, third young master. Du Xiaoqing, little tiger,
and Dai Xingyu went over to greet him. Qing Luan and Xiao Qing also stood up with smiles in their eyes. Their temperament was mysterious and supreme. This young man in tight clothes was naturally Du Xiaofu, who'd used a divine disguise technique. When he sensed that there wasn't just one holy beast expert in the vicinity of the valley, Du Xiaofu had no intention of fighting. After luring the holy beasts away, he used a divine disguise technique and changed his appearance. Along the way, he quietly dealt with a few battle servants who didn't know better. He took a few sets of clothes from his Cosmos bag and arrived at the place he'd agreed to meet with Ouyang Shuang and the others. Given Du Xiaofu's speed and methods, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to shake off those holy beasts. Those holy beasts were only at the early stage of the holy beast realm. Du Xiaofu wasn't afraid of a few early-stage holy beast realm cultivators even if he had to fight them head-on. However, this was the beast region's territory. Du Xiaofu didn't dare take the risk, nor did he need to make a move. "You're finally willing to come back." Suddenly, Ouyang Shuang's voice entered Du Xiaofu's ears. At the same time, Du Xiaofu felt pain in his ear. Ouyang Shuang had pinched it. Ouch, ouch, Du Xiaofu was dumbfounded. He had no idea how he'd provoked this tomboy. "So you can feel pain. Where's Lu Limo? Didn't she come with you?" Ouyang Shuang said indifferently as she held Du Xiaofu's ear. Her voice was a little strange. When they saw this, Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, and Dai Xingyu looked at each other in dismay. They smiled knowingly and consciously retreated, as if they hadn't seen anything. They didn't want to be implicated. "You really do need to be taught a lesson for taking liberties with other people's girls." Qingluan Xiaoqing raised her eyebrows. She was in high spirits as she watched the show. "How about you let go first? I'm not familiar with that Lu Limo or whatever. There's no relationship between us." Du Xiaofu finally understood the reason. This tomboy really hadn't changed. She was still as shrewish as ever. Her looks are enough to move your heart. And her hands are so bright and fair. You haven't seen them in so long. Ouyang Shuang said indifferently. Her grip grew stronger and stronger. Du Xiaofu wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Did he say that? Now that he thought about it, he really did say that. "Darling, I was just joking. I really didn't mean anything by it. She's not as pretty as you. Her hands aren't as fair as yours either." Du Xiaofu's eyes darkened. His ear burned with pain. This tomboy's grip wasn't just a little heavy. "Do you think I'd believe you? She went down with you. What were you doing? Why did you take so long to come back?" Ouyang Shuang didn't have any intention of letting go. If it wasn't for the complicated situation at that time, she wouldn't have endured until now. Moreover, she saw with her own eyes that Lu Limo went with him. As long as they won, they would definitely be able to obtain a lot of rewards. "Your battle servant is no match for me. Come at me yourself." On the square, Du Xiaofu stretched out his hand and pointed at Yan Ming. This battle servant actually wants to challenge Yan Ming. Is he tired of living? The surroundings became silent for an instant. Soon after, the gazes of the surrounding spectators were filled with astonishment. That battle servant was actually so arrogant. He directly pointed at Yan Ming and wanted to challenge Yan Ming. Wasn't that just courting death? No matter how strong a battle servant was, how could he be stronger than Yan Ming? Moreover, from the aura that the battle servant emitted, he didn't seem to be an expert at all. Interesting. It's going to be lively now. Seeing that Yan Ming was actually pointed at by a battle servant and not placed in his eyes, the young Monster King who had won the bet with Yan Ming and many other Monster Kings in the surroundings revealed a smile that wasn't a smile. They were happy to watch the show. In the beginning, the lady didn't place him in her eyes. At this moment, even her battle servant didn't place him in his eyes. One could imagine Yan Ming's mood. His face twitched and the gaze in his eyes became increasingly gloomy. His gloomy voice trembled as he said, "Insignificant battle servant, do you think you have the qualifications to challenge me? In a while, my battle servant will destroy your body and soul. You are not worthy of being challenged by me. One move is sufficient to deal with you.
Why must you send your battle servant to his death? Du Xiaofu continued to point at Yan Ming. His appearance was filled with confidence. His eyes contained some arrogance. Clearly, he did not place Yan Ming in his eyes. How arrogant! This is definitely the most arrogant battle servant that I have ever seen. The surrounding demonic beasts softly spoke. At this moment, there were an increasing number of people surrounding them. There were so many people that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Such a lively scene was really rarely seen. Ha ha ha! Yan Ming laughed out of extreme anger. A small battle servant actually dared to humiliate him and not place him in his eyes. If he still did not attack, it was likely that he would no longer have the face to walk out in the future. He would also no longer have the face to participate in the Beast Alliance Grand Meeting. Battle servant, I will make an exception today and give you this qualification. Now, you can tell me your last words. Yan Ming strode onto the open ground. His eyes, which appeared as though they were about to spit fire, had calmed down a little at this moment. However, that invisible dark and cold expression was still rising. A battle servant had completely infuriated him. He wanted to personally attack. This time around, that battle servant is dead for sure. Some people laughed when they saw Yan Ming walk forward. That battle servant had overestimated himself. It was likely that Yan Ming would not easily let him off after humiliating Yan Ming in such a manner. Pa! A clear sound was suddenly emitted from the arena. It was exceptionally clear and pleasing to the ear. Accompanied by a grug sound, many pairs of eyes saw that Yan Ming, who had just stepped onto the arena, spat out a mouthful of fresh blood along with his teeth. His body suddenly flew backwards and landed a couple of 100 feet away. Deathly silence. The laughter and discussions from earlier had suddenly become completely silent. Everyone's eyes were stunned. Before they could clearly see what had happened, they only saw Yan Ming directly spit out blood and fly backwards. Yan Ming lay a couple of 100 feet away. Fresh blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. Some of the broken teeth that he had spat out were scattered to the side. A 5-finger palm print was clearly visible on his face. Half of his face was already swollen. Both of his eyes were filled with shock, dullness, and a complicated expression. The companions and battle servants behind Yan Ming were even more dumbstruck. Roar! The arena was trembling. Yan Ming's body was expanding. In an instant he had transformed into his original form. His body was like a dog, and his body was covered with leopard symbols. He had horns like a cow, and his voice was like a barking dog. However, his voice was like a large bell, causing the void to rumble. This was the original form of Yan Ming's blazing fire ancient drake. Its body was not big, but it emitted a bright radiance. Its aura was extremely powerful. Boom! At this moment, Yan Ming's beast region level aura swept out without holding back. Its momentum was vast and mighty, and it shook the entire place. Yan Ming was very powerful. He was not a sovereign, but he had the bearing of a genius. Roar! Yan Ming was furious. His small mountain-like body was already in front of Du Xiaofu. As he roared furiously, he extended his meteorite-like claw and directly slammed it towards Du Xiaofu. His aura was vast and frightening. Mysterious symbols erupted, accompanied by the blazing fire ancient drake's illusory figure that appeared as though it was about to rush out. This was the blazing fire ancient drake's ultimate move. Yan Ming was completely furious. This humiliation could only be avenged by killing that battle servant. Otherwise, he would become the disgrace of the entire blazing fire ancient drake's tribe, and even the entire Beast Alliance. Du Xiaofu formed a seal with his hands. Light shot out from his eyes, and mysterious symbols flickered. In an instant, the blazing fire ancient drake's attack came to a halt. Its fierce eyes were in a daze. At the same time, the two sides automatically parted his foot on the ground and directly leaped up. A group of people walked over unhurriedly. He shook his arm, and his front was a young man, clenched into a fist. He had a slender body and a handsome face. Especially his pair of deep brown eyes that emitted an enchanting luster. Behind the young man, there were a few young men and women with extraordinary auras. Any one of them was probably stronger than Yan Ming. Behind these people, there were no less than 30 battle servants. All of them had extraordinary auras. This time, we came under the orders of our seniors to investigate the artifact soul of the primordial saint artifact and a mysterious human young man. However, we didn't find anything. Rest well tonight, and return to the clan tomorrow morning. Bai Ruyan said in the end. All right. Du Xiaoqing nodded. She was very clear about the artifact soul of the primordial saint artifact and the mysterious human young man. The artifact soul of the primordial saint artifact had already landed in her brother's hands. The mysterious human young man was undoubtedly her brother. The battle servants outside the wooden hut wore solemn expressions. Their gazes were sharp as they stood guard in the surroundings. Du Xiaofu withdrew his consciousness and saw through everything. The wooden hut opened and Bai Ruyan and the others walked out. They sized up Du Xiaofu, Ouyang Shuang, Qing Luan, Little Qing, the little tiger, and the others. She could sense that these battle servants and two beasts that had entered from the outside world weren't simple. They gave her a feeling that they were difficult to see through. They were very mysterious. It was already dusk. The curtain of night had descended. After that, Bai Ruyan arranged a place for Du Xiaoqing to stay. Du Xiaofu and the others naturally followed behind Little Qing. I already know everything. Returning to the clan will save me a lot of trouble. We'll act according to the circumstances. Du Xiaofu's voice transmission entered Du Xiaoqing's ears. A silver hook in the night sky sprinkled down boundless radiance. In an ancient courtyard, Du Xiaofu leaned against a pavilion. The streets of the ancient city ahead were still brightly lit. Occasionally, a figure would fly through the night sky and enter the city through the city gate. I wonder how everyone is doing. Du Xiaofu looked at the moon and thought about his drunkard father, sister Xiaojing, brother Qing Chun, little Xingxing, and the people from the desolate country. Let's go to the Bai Fang Divine Bird clan first before making any plans. After a while, Du Xiaofu muttered in his heart. He hoped that he could find out about Du Xiaoqing's background in the Bai Fang Divine Bird clan. The next morning, everyone set off for the Beast King mountain range. Swish, swish, in the void, many figures flew in the direction of the Beast King mountain range to participate in the Beast Alliance meeting. With Bai Ruyan around, no one dared to get close. When they saw Bai Ruyan and the other demonic beasts avoided them. The Bai Fang Divine Bird clan's position in the Beast Alliance was too high. No other beasts dared to provoke them. Along the way, the delicate young lady and handsome young man were very intimate with Du Xiaoqing. They seemed to be very curious about everything in the outside world. Bai Ruyan, on the other hand, didn't talk much. The few battle servants had solemn expressions and didn't say anything. Du Xiaofu followed behind unhurriedly. With such a huge commotion, it was definitely not simple. There are treasures or ruins that have appeared, and they're rather far from us. I'll go first, and you guys follow behind to prevent others from getting there first. Bai Ruyan spoke, and her figure was already like a graceful bolt of lightning as she left. Swoosh, Du Xiaofu increased his speed. Whether it was treasures or ruins, he didn't want to miss them. Brother, wait for me. Du Xiaoqing also increased her speed. Then, Dai Xingyu, Qing Luan, Little Qing, Little Tiger, Ouyang Shuang, and the others also increased their speed. They broke through the sky and instantly surpassed Bai Hao and Ho Shura. Looking at those figures breaking through the sky, Bai Hao and the others seemed to have yet to recover from their shock. These people's speed was actually so terrifying. It seemed like they hadn't used their full strength all along the way. Du Xiaofu followed Bai Ruyan's side, maintaining a distance of several dozen feet. It wasn't good to be too fast, so as to avoid suspicion. Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, and Qing Luan followed behind. Their speed was a little slower, but not by much. Bai Ruyan was surprised again. She had already used her full strength, but the battle servant was still able to follow closely behind. It even gave her a feeling that the battle servant wasn't using his full strength at all. How could she not be surprised? After a while,
A land of ruins appeared in front of them. There were resplendent runes constantly flickering in the void, and the surrounding void was distorted. It was very strange. And in the distorted void, there was a continuous stretch of ancient palace buildings. Mysterious runes shuttled back and forth. It was extremely majestic, grand, and magnificent. The city walls were mottled. It was a ruin of a mansion, as if it had been buried for countless years and was carved with traces of time. Bai Rian and Du Xiaofu landed on a mountain top one after another. Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Du Xiaoqing, and the others followed closely behind. Awu! At this moment, there were many beast roars coming from all directions. Many demonic beasts directly appeared in their true forms. This was the fastest way to travel. Demonic beasts of various races gathered. There were giant monkeys that were several dozen feet tall, fierce wolves that were hundreds of feet tall, and fan-sized butterflies. However, their auras were terrifying. There were also flood dragons, giant pythons, unicorns, a large number of demonic beasts gathered, and many battle servants rushed over. Soon, there were many figures gathered outside the entrance of the ruins. Fierce auras gathered and soared into the sky. Swoosh, swoosh, Bai Ho, Ho Shura, and the others finally arrived. They landed on the mountain top while gasping for breath. There's an ancient broken formation. Dai Xingyu saw it from afar. It was a ruin that had opened, but there were traces of a broken formation. It was extremely dangerous. It's a 5-colored demonic butterfly. It's my first time seeing it. That's a unicorn-colored glass beast. It's extremely rare. It's my first time seeing it too. The densely packed demonic beasts attracted Bai Ho and Ho Shua's attention. They were very surprised and curious as they looked around. Brr! A flood dragon roared in front of them. It revealed its huge body and stretched across the mountain top. For some reason, it opened its ferocious bloody mouth and swallowed more than 10 people directly. After the mouth closed, blood splashed out. It had eaten more than 10 people alive. Soul-devouring flood dragon, you want to eat my battle servants? You're courting death. A loud shout was heard. A giant bull stepped out. Its 2 horns were as sharp as blades, and its aura was extremely powerful. Brr! In an instant, the flood dragon and the giant bull engaged in a fierce battle. The two seemed to have a huge grudge against each other. They did not hold back at all. Sonic booms were endless. Huge rocks were shattered, and the mountain top was swept away. The flood dragon and the giant bull were very strong. They did not control their attacks at all. In the battle, sand and stones were blown away. The energy surged, and many people were affected. Many battle servants who were not strong enough suffered. Some of them even had their bodies pierced by the flying sand and stones. They screamed in agony. Soul-devouring flood dragon, heaven-trampling bull, you 2 bastards want to die. Some demonic beasts shouted. Their battle servants had been sacrificed in vain, and they were furious. Bastards, you'll pay the price. Some bad-tempered demonic beast kings directly joined the battle and attacked the soul-devouring flood dragon and heaven-trampling bull. You killed my battle servants. Fight. When the first demonic beast joined in, there was a second one, and then a third. In an instant, the dispute inexplicably developed into a shocking chaotic battle. The sound waves were monstrous and swept out in all directions. Rumble! As the earth shook, Bai Rian, Du Xiaofu, and the others were inevitably affected. A large amount of gravel and strong winds swept over, and they had no choice but to retreat. This group of evil beasts. Du Xiaofu retreated while cursing. He did not conceal his voice at all. He was just short of shouting. Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Bai Kun, Ho Shua, and the others secretly clicked their tongues. This battle servant was really bold. Calling demonic beasts evil beasts in the Beast Union's territory, this was definitely going to provoke public anger. Sure enough, in the chaotic battle ahead, many fierce eyes followed the voice and stared at Du Xiaofu. Pairs of fierce eyes were filled with cold light. It was extremely frightening. This was the Beast Union's territory. The beasts were the strongest existences. Humans were just battle servants. There was actually a human who called them evil beasts. This caused public anger. Puny battle servant, is it you who is speaking? A huge vicious bird stared at Du Xiaofu, and its voice was sharp and gloomy. Puny battle servant, you're courting death. A huge monkey beast roared. Its voice was like thunder, and its aura was terrifying. It was as if it wanted to tear Du Xiaofu in half at any time. Du Xiaofu had just retreated and was standing alone on a mountain peak. He was bored all the way, and he was also affected. At this moment, he was being yelled at by these inferior demonic beasts. He was in a bad mood and replied, "Don't provoke me. Otherwise, I'll annihilate you bunch of evil beasts who don't know life from death. I'll cook your meat into soup." Such a voice resounded and echoed in all directions. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.